Okay, I'm gonna hit go live. Hello, we are here. Hi chat. Hi everyone.
Are we live?
We are live. I started it. Sorry.
What's up?
I was impatient. Hi everybody. We are here with our regular friend from Political Pendejas Pod. We're going to talk about how the press works with fascists. I think everybody kind of knows that at this point. What was the latest Gallup poll in 2025? 28% of people trust the news. Only 8% of Republicans trust the news, which is interesting. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about what I feel like a lot of people use the term manufacturing consent, but not a lot of people understand it. And I think it kind of gives us a good way to talk about all of this crazy annoyance of the press. Go ahead.
So we're not manufacturing consent. We're talking about it, and then Eliana is going to talk about the manufacturing, the manufacturers.
She's just going to pop off throughout me talking about the 5 filters of manufacturing consent. I think I should just explain what it means, and then it'll make sense once I start.
I've never heard of this except for
what
in the movie Good Will Hunting. He says it to Robin Williams' character in Good Will Hunting. And
okay,
Eliana, you have a bunch of stuff about the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Yeah. Do you want to start with that?
Sorry, I want to manufacture consent first. Just frame it as the manufacturings of the consent, Meg. Sorry, I'm distracted.
No. It's okay. Okay, manufacturing consent. Let me just pull it up. Hold on. I'll share my screen. Share screen window. That one. Okay. This is manufacturing consent. Don't go to Amazon to buy it. But Noam Chomsky wrote this back in forever ago. I don't even know. But it's about how power and propaganda distort the news. And he wrote this in the 80s. So I think it's really interesting because it's very timeless. But he has 5 filters that impact the way the news is used to influence, to give propaganda.
Yeah,
but let's
Paw Patrol is propaganda.
That is propaganda. Mm-hmm. So fuck that. But what's really interesting is the first filter of manufacturing consent is ownership. Whoever owns the outlet is going to use the outlet for what it needs. So because media companies are not publicly owned institutions, they're businesses owned by bigger businesses, and their interest is not giving us the truth. Their interest is giving us information that they need us to believe or know for their own benefit. So if we look into who is owning all of the outlets now, we have Barry Weiss, who is hired to run CBS, even though she has 0 broadcast experience. Now she's getting it on CNN.
The Ellisons own the outlet. They hired Barry. What's the guy who owns it?
David Ellison. David and his father, Larry. We have Jeff Bezos with the Washington Post gutting the newsroom. The Ellisons bought up Paramount. They're angling to buy CNN's parent company too. So that is the first filter and this ownership issue is getting a lot worse under Trump. And I think that should tie into some of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but I'll let you take it from there before I get into filter number 2 of manufacturing consent, Eliana.
Yes, definitely. So that's all really good context, because what ends up happening, as somebody who didn't previously have journalism experience until I started covering politics, and then I became a journalist through political commentary. Once I started gaining journalism experience, I realized that so much of what's happening within newsrooms is incredibly controlled, first of all. And the journalist is really just the worker. they don't make a lot of the decisions. So one of the things that I really started noticing when I was, for instance, covering Palestine, the protests that were specifically popping off in LA. We have one of the largest Palestinian communities in the diaspora in LA. And so I started covering those protests, and then the student encampments happened. So they first started in Columbia, but then they, or at Columbia University, and then they came over to UCLA and USC.
Which was crazy.
Yeah, USC students tried to set up an encampment. That university heavily suppressed them, so they weren't able to. So the UCLA students were really able to like make something substantial there. So I covered that. And one of the things that I noticed, and the reason I bring that up, is because that was the first time in my journalism career and experience where I saw how heavily the newsrooms can censor a story, how they will do catch and kills, how they will tell you what you can and cannot say, how you can cover a story, even if you have like evidence of the facts of, for instance, you know, a counter protester pulling a badge or being violent. Even if you have evidence of these things, they still want you to frame it in a certain way. It was wild. It was really fucking wild. And that is one of the reasons why so many journalists do end up building their own independent audience and going fully independent. That is something that I have been working on for the last couple of years, because working with publications has just become so frustrating. And so, yes, when you have ownership, for instance, one of the outlets that blacklisted me during the Palestinian encampments, student encampments, and Palestine protests here, they were owned by a billionaire. And one of the things that happened is I was just a freelancer for them, but even like any freelancer that was touching the subject of Palestine was like, no, we're not running your stories. Staff ended up getting fired over wanting to portray the situation accurately, rather than how these billionaires and these like Zionist editors wanted them to portray the situation. So newsrooms and media that prides itself in being accurate are actively suppressing and censoring and controlling certain narratives based on either what the editor wants or doesn't want, or what the owner wants or doesn't want. So what we're seeing with Bari Weiss, for instance, who was running the Free Press, she was literally an opinion writer. She wasn't even a journalist. What she did with the Free Press is she was able to control the narrative and tell stories that you wouldn't see on mainstream, right? Like she was using that type of narrative to actually push an agenda that was rooted in opinion and not fact. And that is what a lot of these billionaires want to happen. And so one of the things that I'm seeing with the White House Correspondents' Dinner, for instance, which a lot of people are obviously confused as like, why would they even want to have it under this administration? Like, why not just skip it the next 4 years and like resume we're not under a fascist regime? One of the things that everyone's noticing is like these journalists from predominantly mainstream corporate media are like keying with fascists and Nazis at this like gala that looks like the Hunger Games, where everyone's in like ball gowns and like made up, and they're all getting awards for presenting quote unquote the facts. But
the
as
most
we know,
filtered version.
exactly.
Raising my hand, asking a question here.
Yeah.
Do you mean the Jake Tapper that has a pocket square with the First Amendment on it at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? You mean that that's not an effective form of resistance?
He's not a beacon of truth.
What?
No.
Well, I'm actually making I actually worked at just to jump in to give you an idea of like how billionaires behave with their newsrooms. Like a lot of times they don't even care about money. They just care about control. And like one example is when I was working at DNA Info, which was kind of like New York. It was kind of like the Gothamist or like Time Out or like the Chicago Reader is a good example, or Block Club. It was like a local thing, and it would actually be delivered for free. There are 70 Chicago neighborhoods. It would be a physical paper delivered for free, and we would make money on advertising. I sold advertising, but after I left about 6 months later, the Newsroom, the reporters were going to organize, and the owner of DNA Info was the Ricketts, like old man Ricketts. He was a douchebag. He made a ton of money on TD Ameritrade. Like, he's a scumbag. Met him at a Christmas party. He's just a big fat creep. And he didn't do anything creepy. He just gave me the heebie-jeebies. I didn't like him. But as soon as he found out that the reporters were unionizing, he simply just shut down all of the papers. Like, he found out they were going to vote for a union, and before they could even vote, he just totally destroyed the company. He was like, nope, done. Forget it. It's over.
So you sold advertising. This brings me to point 2. So I'm like curious to hear if you could see how this would have worked. But so filter 1 is ownership. Filter 2 is advertisers and funders. Outlets have to protect whoever pays the bills. So if a report will somehow hurt funders, they're going to kill the report or sanitize it to not upset their funders. Steve, as somebody who is selling advertising for publications, have you seen how that would play out?
I never saw it on an editorial side, because technically speaking, like, if you're doing news correctly, based on my understanding of it, there is a separation between church and state, so that advertising and the newsroom are kind of like sacrosanct. I know that a lot of people in various industries that are more creative have been, I don't want to say too much, but they have been retaliated against a similar way as Eliana was, directly because of the people higher up in how they thought it
well,
would.
Think of in aisle 9, I know that there was a newspaper that wanted to dig into a story about Daniel Biss, and somebody related to Daniel Biss's team, whether he knows it or not, got donors to call to kill the story. So whoever is funding the paper has a big say.
And it got some person in that publication who was doing work for, got him. Well, it was technically on a volunteer basis, but they were basically blackballed for basically challenging the veracity of some of the claims being made online about one of the candidates. Somebody used, I forgot about that, Meg. How could we forget?
So that is filter number 2. So 1 is ownership, 2 is funders, 3 is sourcing, which I think Eliana will have a lot to say about. But, reporters need access to police officials, politicians, all of that. So the version of the story that first reaches the press is going to be that of the people in power. We see this with police shootings. We hear from the police about what happened before anything else, and they get to set the narrative, and then it's an uphill battle from there. We see this with ICE killings. Kristi Noem would be the first one to say whatever bullshit she would want to come up with. And so that is also a major issue, because the first source, the person setting the tone of the story, is often somebody who is in power. Is that something that you were seeing a lot when you were covering the encampments and all of that?
Yeah, it's something that I see constantly. So what ends up happening, and I feel the frustration of the public, because it's something that I noticed even before I became a journalist, right? It's like the narrative of the state or the police or the feds or whoever is in law enforcement. Their narrative always gets pushed out first. And I never understood why until I started working within. So what ends up happening is a lot of these publications don't want to get sued, and they don't want to get in trouble with these agencies, and they don't want to make them upset, because you need access to their side of the story, right? And so in order to do that, what a lot of publications and journalists do is they end up just cozying up to them. Not everyone. There are a lot of journalists that really want to have integrity in their work. And so but these are journalists that like have exercised a lot of critical thinking. What I would say is that journalists that are like fresh out of school, or journalists that are very like pro corporatist and very pro cop, they tend to lean much more heavily into the narrative of the police. So that's why you end up seeing a lot of like these like cop press conferences. That footage ends up getting pushed out first and the most, over the witnesses or the families that were affected or the victims themselves, right? And so what happens is the police are much more willing to give you a statement quicker, faster, and from their point of view, than, you know, the time that it takes to like really dive into the victim's family, to find them, to like get them to talk to you, to build that trust. That takes a little bit more time. And so there are like logistical things that go into it, but a lot of the time what we see is broadcast journalism tends to lean much more into the pro cop narrative, or just the law enforcement narrative in general, versus independent journalists who are really doing the deep dive work into finding the families, finding their Instagram, finding the witnesses, building the trust that it takes to get them to even be comfortable to talk to you. So there's a lot that happens there. And in terms of like the White House itself, the White House Correspondents' Dinner is just it's supposed to be for the correspondents that are given access to the White House, right? To the White House press briefing room. Ugh, that's a mouthful. And so these people have to build a certain type of relationship with the White House in order for them to continue getting a seat at the table, right? And so what ends up happening is, you know, a lot of times, I don't want to say most of the time, but a lot of the times, they end up collaborating with the administration. Now, one of the things that we did see, maybe I want to say it was like a year or two ago, or maybe it was on Trump's like end of his first term, is that a lot of outlets, I want to say it was the beginning of his second term, a lot of outlets didn't want to sign that waiver that the White House wanted them to sign of like, oh, you can only cover this, and
there
this,
was one for the Pentagon, I think.
Yeah, for the Pentagon
that
as
was
well.
super specific. Yeah. And they all walked out except for, what's that one, OAN or something weird like that. One of the like super Trump, but now there's nobody in the Pentagon except for like a super Trump outlet, which is terrifying, actually. Like even Fox News said no. Like that is terrifying.
Yeah. And so the mistake that Trump made is that they actually tried to put that in writing and tried to coerce the journalists to do that. What sometimes ends up happening with other administrations is that it's kind of like a handshake backroom type of situation where they're like, yeah, I'm going to give you this statement as long as you cover it in this way. And some journalists will do that, right? Like they'll be like, I won't ask this type of question or that type of question as long as you give me a statement.
Can I jump in real quick here? Because I actually wrote a Substack that no one read about this, but as a comedian, as a comedian, I find it egregious how badly, like, if you're not funny, you get fired, right? Like if you're making a movie and it doesn't make any money, no one gives you money for another movie because it's a bad investment. But the problem with political commentary and political journalism is that the incentive structure is all wrong. Like they are concerned about rate. This is what I'm going to tell you. And you tell me if I'm wrong here. But my theory on how Trump wins in 2016 is because for too long, media was based on your strength of a broadcast journalist, or any journalist for that matter, was your access. To Meg's point, the access industrial complex is what I call it, right? So the way that plays out is like Jake Tapper can't give a hardball interview to Hillary Clinton about her support for Israel in 2011, because if she does that, then Jake Tapper doesn't get to interview her in 2016 if she wins the presidency. The problem with that is then Hillary Clinton is no longer incentivized to defend her positions to the voters, which Jake Tapper is, if he was doing his job. I'm using Jake Tapper as an example because he's purportedly a pro-democracy journalist, but he is a collaborator because he had the chance to set the stage so that people would continue to be held to account in power on behalf of the people that vote them into power. But instead, he chose to collaborate and allow these policies that became so unpopular that paved the way for Trump and eroded trust in corporate journalism. Now, the reason that has changed is because the means of production have been democratized. Now, anybody with a camera phone can technically be telling the stories that people want to hear. But Jake Tapper is only worried about getting a good interview, and Hillary Clinton's only concerned about not getting pushback because she's sensitive. And then in 2016, no one trusts Jake Tapper and no one trusts Hillary Clinton. And Hillary hasn't had to improve her policies because Jake Tapper's not asking her hard questions. So access is a form of currency that these people value, and it erodes their ability to do their actual fucking job, which is why I don't
think about like for the longest time, well, still the IDF is the main source of official updates that we have been getting about what is happening in Israel, in occupied Palestine forever. And so that is the official source. People want to be able to cover it. So they're just going to go with whatever the Israeli government says. And now we know that they're fucking liars. And we know that we can rely on Al Jazeera now. But then they started killing off all of the journalists because people started realizing you can't rely on the IDF or the Israeli government to tell the truth about what's happening. And anyone who did try.
Journalists.
Yeah. And that is also like part of the fourth filter of manufacturing consent is flack for telling the truth. You will be retaliated against if you speak the truth. And the people who are willing to tell, like we saw people losing where'd he go? We saw people losing their jobs early on with Gaza. We saw a lot of people just get censured, losing their jobs. That is still happening. And again, at least it's democratized because I think people were just like, no, this is bullshit. We've seen the truth. But there is a flack that happens. People are afraid of losing. They're like, well, maybe if I can just tell a little bit of the truth, it's better than nothing. And they'll make concessions. And so that's the fourth filter. And then the final filter is a common enemy, which in manufacturing consent, it's communism scare. Now it's like socialism, communism, Antifa, but it's literally like this is the same playbook that they have always used in this like capitalist structure. And I think that gets into like why independent journalism is so critical and needs so much more support, especially legal support. And monetary financial support. But if you want to talk more about that and like independent journalism and,
and if you're in the chat joining us, be sure to say hello. Come on, say hi. I'll make you a little picture maybe. I don't know. Whatever makes you happy, bro. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I had a quick thought while Steve was talking about access. So yes, all of what you said is true. That has been happening in media for a while. What a very dangerous trend that I'm seeing right now is that it's being passed off to influencers and creators.
Wait, I forgot to say Aaron Parnas is just pickpocketing Jake Tapper's views because moms are scrolling on their phone, not watching CNN.
I personally don't want to call out any specific creators.
I'm not calling anybody out except that one single creator because I think he's as powerful as Jake Tapper. That's the only one I would call out is because not because I think he's a bad guy or he's doing the wrong thing.
But no, it is an access issue. There are people who are genuinely afraid of access. Or like I am somebody who says whatever the fuck I want online, and people are always like, "Aren't you afraid of like losing access to blah 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 blah?" No. And I'm like, literally no, because they need us more than we need them. Like, you don't even understand. I still get emails from the most liberal politicians' teams who want me to cover them. I'm like, do you watch my content? No, I'm not covering your shit. Like, we need to stop acting like they're the ones who have all the power.
Yeah. But the reason I bring it up is because there are influencers and creators that I have seen that are doing the very same thing that I witness in newsrooms. So a lot of people are wanting to monetize their access to politicians. And so they will literally like have, get paid a lot of times to have a politician on their show, Instagram, whatever. And then there are people who, for the sake of having access, they will water down their critique for that politician. So I am starting to notice that trend, which I don't like, because we need the independence, right? Like we need media and like traditional media to decorporatize itself so that we can continue getting the facts, right? Like we will always need a media that does have funding and access to be able to get a lot of the factual information. That is true. But we also need the independence of journalists and creators who are able to say their opinion about a number of things, but who are also able to do their own investigative work. So what we saw with Eric Swalwell, for instance, was it was creators that were able to get the trust and get the access to the victims and were able to get the story out faster than like a journalist in a newsroom, right? Because the distrust in media is so high that right now creators are more trusted than journalists, which is a very interesting thing. And I don't blame people for trusting creators much more. The problem, though, is when creators then start making the same mistakes that mainstream media makes. And then it becomes, a cycle, right?
This was my Substack, Meg. It was too long, but this is what I said. Wait, no, because I honestly believe, and here's the problem, Eliana, is that I completely agree with you. And the only reason I called out that one person, and I put it in my article, I didn't use the name. I just said the libfluencer, but he's a safe interview for anybody who wants to launder talking points the same way that Jake Tapper is. And a lot of people in Democratic politics, because they're always one medium behind fascists, because fascists are like comedians and pornographers, they're always thinking about the next place people will be, not the last place. A lot of Democratic politics are like politicians with a lot of money are like, oh, we just need 100 safe interviewers on social media. Except, and so they're like, if we can find 150 people to if we can astroturf 150 people and get a safe interview, 150 safe interviews for Hakeem Jeffries they can post on Instagram, we're good. But here's the problem with the way the Democrats are thinking is that, one, if people see Hakeem Jeffries, it doesn't matter who's interviewing him. They know what he stands for. Okay. So because he goes on Jake Tapper too. So it doesn't matter where because people watch CNN on their phones. Now they're just choosing to go and see safe influencers who just, but the other problem is that they're also forgetting how fascists are using the short form medium now, which is that they're churning out buckets and buckets of AI slop. So people are going to be exhausted by short form content very soon because they will no longer know, because people's children are going to be tired of getting videos from their parents in their group chat saying, and their mom being like, look at this video. And then the kid is going to be like, that's AI, you're a sucker. And so they're going to go, where do I go? They're going to listen to podcasts. They're going to go to longer form content, lo-fi content. And they hopefully will go back to traditional media if they ever find their soul again. But I think so sorry, but like, I think that the biggest danger, the way I synthesize the biggest danger that you've just articulately described, Eliana, is that I don't want social media, and I don't like the word influencer, but because I wouldn't consider you an influencer. I consider you a journalist. I consider Meg like an activist organizer, like Frankenstein's monster resume, a very competent. and I'm a comedian, and I happen to use the internet to do comedy. And so like my medium is the internet, but I don't know that an influencer is what they try and call us so they don't have to pay us. Well,
I think though that there is a difference between people who can just ask some questions but haven't actually like I think all of us have spent a lot of time understanding, researching, working in this space, and we're just trying to share our findings with the world. We're not trying, like, and it helps to have a platform, and you want to make sure the messaging gets out. I think the difference is when there are people who are trying to do that without having their own baseline of knowledge, whatever.
Yes.
And they're trying to build up their I don't want to say, like, they're trying to validate themselves faster by being like, look, I can interview these politicians, I can do this, I can be at these events, because that's the only thing that validates them. They haven't built trust because they don't have anything, like, they don't have a foundation to work from.
And a lot of times when you listen to them kind of talk, they don't have like a substantial political analysis to be able to actually say, like, this is why I trust this politician, or this is why I think this politician would be the best one for the job or the role or the community or whatever. A lot of times what's missing is that critical analysis of the politics of that particular community, right? Because I can talk about LA because I'm an expert in my community where I'm currently stationed. I can't really do the same thing for Chicago. I can't really do the same thing for buttfuck Indiana because I'm not currently.
We can do it in buttfuck Illinois though, because we both know Champaign. We both know Champaign.
Yeah, like I can talk about Houston, Texas, because I lived there for like a decade, right? So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the times that is missing. And so what we're seeing is this like Tour de France in a way, like these tours that are happening, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. Like, I would love to go to Michigan and interview Abdul, but I want to interview him on something substantial. I want to interview him on like something that other people haven't covered yet. And I won't say what it is because I am still trying to get an interview with him. But I know that my unique ability to have the critical analysis of our current politics, specifically on the progressive side, is what differentiates me from an influencer or creator who does not have that. They just know, hey, you know, my manager wants me to interview this politician and I'm just going to do it. Right.
Yes.
So there's that. And then the other thing, I didn't want to lose my thought on this, is, shit, now I'm losing my thought on it. Steve said something about, no, it wasn't that. It was, shit, I lost it. Come back to me.
Damn it. Well, no.
Hold on, Steve, do a recap of what you were just talking about. Maybe it'll help.
No, I think I'm going to. The reason I put on my sunglasses and my bucket hat is because the truth is so bright coming out of Eliana right now. And her gifts are shining through. No, I'm not even gassing you up right now, bro. I just noticed that shit and it hurts. But, and so that's why I look like Liam Gallagher from
you do.
I don't know. I don't like Noel. No, but what I was gonna say is
it just so sorry, it just popped up. It was actually a comment that somebody left. It says it's almost like capitalism is a cancer. So
that's our boy Blue.
Okay, so yes, that I didn't want to lose my thought on this because I am currently reading a lot about socialism because everyone wants to talk about socialism, and so I want to be able to like provide some analysis for that, even though I've been a socialist for a while. But I'm currently reading a book that I think we talked about the last time I was here, where there was a section in it that I just finished where they talk about corporate media and how fascists love to control corporate media, even if the fascist or the authoritarian isn't explicitly or overtly claiming to be fascist or acting in fully fascist or authoritarian ways. So one of the things that we started seeing in terms of the Biden administration is that they really wanted to control everything. And they wanted to control the narrative around him being sick or not being sick, about his campaign, you know, moving forward or not moving forward, right? Like there was a lot of ping-ponging around. And then once, not Hillary, what was her name? Harris. Once Harris decided to get on the ticket, we didn't see her anywhere. The way that she decided to control the situation in order to get the votes was to control the amount of places and the types of places where she decided to give interviews to, which was almost nobody, right? Like the only people that she decided to talk to was the corporate mainstream media. And even then, it was very few and far between. And that was a critique that a lot of progressives gave her. They said, you need to be going on podcasts. You need to be visible.
We already were deprived of a primary. You need to like give the people,
Exactly. You need to be talking to people. You need to be talking to the people who are connected to other people, right? Which a lot of podcasters are. And so and the reason they said that, which I agree with, is look at how Trump was acting. He was going on every podcast, the bros, the people who didn't like him, he was literally everywhere that would give him the time of day. That is a very particular strategy that fascists love to use. Currently, there's been some studies about this. Currently, there is which country it's a Latin American country. They call him the modern day fascist or something like that. Where is he from? El Salvador?
Yeah,
something
like Ecuador. Is it Ecuador?
No, I think it's El Salvador. Whoever the president is there, they give him a very specific
name. Damn it, that's gonna bother me.
I know, but they give him a very specific name. And what they have studied is that he utilizes social media to present himself.
Bukele.
Yes. Bukele. Yes. So what Bukele does is he will utilize social media to his advantage to push a lot of his narrative. And so one of the things that we saw Trump doing is he has his own social media, right? He has his Truth Social. When Musk was running running Twitter, but when he took over Twitter, he reinstated Trump, right? He did all of these things to push the narrative in his advantage. And one of the very strategic things that his campaign did the first time he ran in 2016 is that he really infiltrated media, because as a reality star, he understood that any type of attention is good attention, whether it's good, it's bad. You just need to be visible and need to be seen. One of the things that has been also heavily studied is that people who get the presidential ticket or who are the most successful in their campaigns are people who have name recognition. If you are visible, people, whether you are good, bad, whatever, people will recognize your name and they are much more likely to vote for you, especially if they are uneducated in politics. That is what Trump has successfully done to our disadvantage, right? But that's what Harris should have done. If Harris really, there was a lot of things she should have done as well, right? Like in terms of genocide and all of that. But that aside, even if she had changed her mind on that, what she should have done is been visible, convince people of why not having a primary and not having the democratic process was going to be beneficial in terms of not getting a fascist and wannabe dictator in office. And instead, what happened is she remained silent. She tried to heavily control the narrative, which did not work. And then she refused to take and adopt a progressive agenda. That was to her detriment. The DNC even said so in their stupid ass report that they refused to release until a year later. So all of these things culminate to what we're seeing at the White House Correspondents' Dinner is that so much of what happens now in journalism is heavily controlled by the billionaires, by the oligarchy. And now people are running to independent media and to influencers. And now that landscape is shifting and changing. Well, and so it's a mess. The whole thing is a mess.
Well, here's the thing is, and yes, I agree. Again, the glasses are still on. That doesn't mean if I take them off, it's any less true. It just means it's getting heavy. But the thing I would say to synthesize, like, because that, I think that covered the breadth of the issue, especially because now Democratic strategists keep repeating, we need to flood the zone. We need to flood the zone. Like, guess what, guys? That was what they said in a secret meeting 10 years ago. And so we're already playing with the last playbook. When we say we are the Democratic Party is reactionary, it means that they are reacting to the tactics and strategy of our enemy. We need to be responsive. We need to
Well, we need to organize. Like,
Well,
we are just not organized the way they are.
No. Yeah, organizing is the thing. And that is something we need to do too. I'm saying that strictly from a storytelling standpoint, this is an insurgency. That is what the Trump administration understands, is that you have to hit your enemy on as many mediums as you can possibly do it. And you need to do it in the mediums where people are undecided. Now, which mediums are people undecided? I will tell you how you can tell. This is what we used to do in legacy media. I'm taking my glasses off because everything I say is Expo, not Sharpie. So we don't know if it's the truth, and I don't have a mirror, so I don't know if it's true or not. But in legacy media, when we used to do, yesterday I had a quote from a guy named Grant Tinker, who my boss. He was the chairman of NBC, and I used to work for his son, not an Nepo baby. He started out as a production assistant for 10 years, and then ended up producing NYPD Blue and a bunch of like original programming. He won 4 Emmys, but I worked for him for 4 years, and every Tuesday, every Thursday, our show, we would get ratings from Nielsen. So Nielsen is who used to do TV ratings. And basically there were 5,000 Nielsen boxes in the United States of America. And it was basically like a poll, except a poll for television, right? Who was watching what from 8 to 10 o'clock? And why is that important? The reason that's important is because that is how you used to price advertising rates. Depending on the amount of people watching your show, the more people watching your show, the more money you made. This is a windup, okay? The most important number was the key demos. The key demos were 18 to 45-year-olds for advertising premiums. Why is that the most important demo? This is my theory, but I think it's because 18 to 45-year-olds, at least back in the day, used to be the people that would spend the most money on looking cool, right? Now, when you're looking at, if you want to know who is culturally relevant, it's hard to tell from advertising because Gen Z is the most advertised to generation ever. So they don't do a very good job of it. But if you want to see who's irrelevant, this is what I say. Figure out who is running prescription medication ads. Figure out who is running household ads. Anything for a house, like a roofing ad or a prescription medication ad or any kind of like premium household products, because the only people who can afford houses are old people. And the only people who need medication so much that you have to advertise it are old people. And if you look at, this is the other thing that's fucked up about the legacy media system. If you look at legacy media, all of the ads are local roofing commercials because they're boomers. They're for boomers and they need to get their house re-roofed because they've had their houses for 30 years. And it's prescription medication, right? Now, if you watch sports, it's crypto and gambling. Everything is crypto and gambling and like chicken fingers, right? Because we know that 18 to 45-year-olds, so networks are surviving from programming of sports.
Yeah.
And legacy corporate media is surviving by prescription medications, housing ads, and every 2 and 4 years, they sell political advertising for the full rate card. And what I say by full rate card, that means that a rate card is how much it would cost to purchase advertising at that network. And typically, because I used to work in legacy advertising sales too, you can get a deal on, like, Meg, we could take out a commercial right now and it would be relatively inexpensive because no one wants to buy it. No one wants to buy it. So we could call them and they would say, our rate's $1,000. And we're like, we have $50. Like, yeah, I'll do it for $250. And it's like, okay, cool. So I just got it at 25% of rate card. You know who doesn't negotiate for the price of political advertising? Is politics.
The Super Bowl. Oh.
No, you don't have to for the Super Bowl. But political consultants, not only do they not negotiate for advertising on legacy media, they don't want to. Because if they buy it from people at networks, they get a kickback. So if I buy $1 million of advertising from CBS and I work for Cory Booker's campaign, I'm using Cory Booker as an example. I imagine he has people like this, but who knows? Or Kamala Harris. If I work for Kamala Harris's campaign and I go to CBS and I say, hey, I'm going to buy $1 million worth of advertising, their rep will kick back 10% of that to them, to the consultant. That's how the consultant gets paid. So they are incentivized to be inefficient with their money. For a bunch of people who whinge and moan about socialism, they are incredibly inefficient when it comes to maximizing the spend when they're fighting for democracy. And they tend to rely on traditional media because it happens to have the best margins. So what happens? Political consultants write shitty ads and they sell a lot of them for very high prices because they make a lot of money. What happens what happens when all you're worried about is Jake Tapper's making sure that you can give an interview to the president of the United States so you can go to events where it would require a pocket square, which that would be a lame fucking event. What happens is you have a group of people who are selling bad advertising for milquetoast candidates who have nothing to say.
Because like $60 million on Haley Stevens, which is insane.
Right.
Insane.
And all that happens, all that Haley Stevens says is the same thing that Jake Tapper says. This is a synthesized way to synthesize it. Corporations, capitalism, and corporate politicians have incentivized storytellers with the biggest audiences that make the most money to make safe, no shit statements. What does that mean? And this is what's starting to happen with influencers. You'll notice it. And start paying attention to who is running prescription medication advertising and tech. Like those are tech is the other one, but typically they don't do that on like Fox because no old people. But look at the tech ads, look at the prescription medication ads, and those are the networks where people are making no shit statements. They're saying Trump is bad. No shit. Trump is corrupt. No shit. Trump ruined the White House reflecting pool. No shit. Right? You're telling me you are narrating our problems. You are narrating things that we understand as an audience. So what you are doing, Jake Tapper, by saying Donald Trump is the most corrupt man in American, what does it mean for America? Like, it means, Jake, that you're telling us a bunch of stuff that you know will piss us off so that you aren't telling stories that lead us to ask questions. Like, how does, for instance, how does the NDAA, which is the military budget that Donald Trump is asking for with $1.5 trillion, how does $600 billion earmarked for a cooperative program between Israel and the United States military for technology, how does that benefit somebody in the Trump administration, very close to the Trump administration, like, I don't know, Larry Ellison, because he has more military tech investment.
Like Peter Thiel. Palantir. Like all of these, they're all going to make so much money from that, you know?
I like sticking to Larry Ellison in this example because Larry Ellison owns CNN. So you see that there is no incentive for Jake Tapper to report on Section 219 of the NDAA because it will piss off his bosses. And then Jake Tapper will have to go home to his multi-million-dollar mansion and look in the mirror, and he won't have a job that will validate him the next day because he knows he's full of shit. So
correct.
If anybody is telling you something, and sorry, now I'm popping off, but I'm almost done. I promise. Sorry. And if you guys don't think I'm cooking, you got to let me know. Meg knows. I get in my holes. But is what I'm saying making sense?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, nice.
That's exactly what it is, though, is the media gives us like the illusion of democracy. It gives us the illusion that we're getting the information that we need. It gives us the illusion that there are some journalists who are really pushing back. But I think all of us probably felt the same way, was like when I was watching on TikTok Gaza, and then I used to be someone who would watch CNN or NBC like every night. But then when Gaza was happening, and I was like, how the fuck are these fuckers not saying anything? And then you realize like this is all an illusion. They're telling us they're just telling us what they want us to believe in order to manufacture our consent to continue to send bombs to Gaza, to continue to let this quietly pass Section 219 and the NDAA
That's the thing. And that's the thing I want to tell our audience, because we're learning about manufacturing consent, right? And Eliana has talked about it from the journalist point of view. Meg has talked about it from the same point of view that I talk about stuff at. Well, we're both neurodivergent, so we get like hyperfixated on. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, Meg. My bad. You don't care, right?
I am openly neurodivergent. I'm
Okay.
autistic. I have
Sorry,
ADHD,
I didn't mean to.
depression, anxiety, all the medications. There we go. It's all
Okay, I'm
out.
sorry.
HIPAA
Yeah,
not
me too.
violated.
I have more acronyms for my diagnoses than the government has government agencies, but it's managed well. And also, let me just tell you, shout out to Meg. Wait, where's my Meg candle? I got my Meg candle here. Meg, I've been working in creative shit for 15 years, and Meg is the healthiest person, so I'm gonna do that. Like, Meg's all about helping people. We don't have to mask in this place, and it says here, a modest man never talks to himself. I talk to Meg. That's why.
So you light a candle and talk to the candle.
No, I
Pretend
light
it's
a
me.
candle in appreciation for you for making me feel safe being who I am. But what I was going to tell our
Perfect.
audience about manufacturing consent is that this is the watermark, right? If the person you're getting information from says everything they say, the answer is no shit. You might not be getting information from somebody. You might be getting information from somebody that has an agenda or is being, and this is the thing. The most culturally relevant political commentator right now is doing it for the price of a Honda Civic every year in his bedroom. And I would argue it's Hassan. Like, he's in GQ. Like, my godson, who's Gen Alpha, knows who Hassan is. He also knows who Clavicular is. And both of those,
I have no idea who that is still.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's horrible. He's horrible. But Hassan,
Blue of the Blue broadcast. It goes above.
Blue of the Blue broadcast. Actually, I think that's right, Bill Button. Rockefeller is poisoning me with petroleum products known as pharmaceuticals. Oh, never mind. You were right up until the pharmaceutical part. That's actually psychopharmacology is science, but you're so close. But
pry my Zoloft out of my cold dead hands.
Yeah, right. The DNC is the DNC and all these people and the ADL have spent the equivalent of a Star Wars franchise trying to destroy Hassan Piker.
Yeah.
And he is literally broadcasting for the price of a Honda Civic every year. And he remains, and I'm not saying that Hassan is perfect. I'm not saying that he's not, nobody's perfect. Okay. It's like Ed Koch
But in
said.
regards of someone not being owned and selling out.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Meg. Yes. And if you, and that's the thing, is that media is sold out. They are captured. That's what you mean by corporate capture. It's like the mob. You borrow money from them and they will always get it back.
And that's something that Haley Stevens ended up getting fucking destroyed on. Was it last night or yesterday or some like in the last like 48 hours? They had that debate and the journalist was like, yeah, so what's up with this fucking $40,000 or $40 million, whatever? Yes. And AIPAC, are you, is that money, I forget how he said it, but is that money going to taint the way that you do your politics, right? Because otherwise, why would they give you all of this money if they don't want something in return? And Abdul was able to fucking hammer her on that shit. And she literally was like, no, it's not gonna, I hate the way she talks, but anyway.
Abdul, I'm making fun of her because
we're not
she's
allowed to make fun of her anymore.
No,
but
I'm not making fun of her accent. I'm making fun of her being a bad actress. She's a bad actress.
If people want to know, Abdul did Real Talk have a meeting with open to any creators who wanted to join. So creators who are hating on him, you could have also joined too. And the first thing he said, other than thank you guys so much for everything you're doing, was we need to be kind. So like, he's not fucking around. He's saying he has instructed everyone to be kind to Haley Stevens.
No, I'm okay with her accent. I just don't like the way that she delivers information.
And also she ended everything like this.
Yes,
every time
exactly. And she'd be like, no. And like, it's just it's condescending. And it's also just like bad faith because obviously they're giving you money because they want something in return. AIPAC doesn't spend
like we are millions not stupid.
Right.
We're not
AIPAC
stupid.
does not spend millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on political campaigns if they don't think that they're going to get something in return. And we have seen for the last like 40 years, Biden was a prime example of when you dump all of this money year after year after year, campaign after campaign after campaign, you are going to give them something back. and it's going to be to the detriment of so many thousands of people. And so, yeah, no, that's 100% true.
We actually have Brittany. It's just like a quick note so people know. Our friend Brittany, who she just changed her registration to Democrat, but she grew up Republican. She's coming on to she changed so that she can vote in the primaries. But she's going to come on to analyze how Haley Stevens uses Republican tactics or used Republican tactics in the debate, which I think will be really interesting. And I think you see a lot of So if you want to stay for that, totally can.
Yes. No, I totally see that. That'll be fascinating to see if we're on the same page with that. But yeah, an interesting thing that I started noticing is that progressives, not always progressives, liberals and progressives are starting to get the same type of companies that are funding Republican creators are now trying to fund them. Guess who I ended up getting a DM from that wanted to pay me to do content with them for them? However, Kalshi.
Close.
Yeah. Kalshi freaking DM'd me and we're like, hey, we love your content. We'd love for you to like blah, blah, blah. And I literally just left them on red because I'm like, what the thing that they are going to do is they're going to do the same thing that all of like what you just said in terms of advertising. They're going to try to do that with people on the left where they're going to be like, yeah, no, there's no stipulations on this money. Like you can talk about whatever you want. We want you to talk about progressive values, blah, blah, blah. There's always going to be something else tied to that money. And unfortunately, with these companies, these tech companies that are basically gambling services that are trying to normalize gambling.
I'm a recovering gambling addict. Like I'm not in a 12-step program, but I talked about it yesterday. Like I've banned myself from every casino. This is like 12 years ago in Illinois, 10 years ago, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, because I used to go gamble in casinos. And like, so I know just how destructive this is. Like,
well, also Donald Trump Jr. is on the board of Kalshi, right? Of both Polymarket and so disgusting.
And I had to tell another creator friend of mine because they were like, hey, do you want to do a collaboration with this company, blah, blah, blah. And so at first I didn't recognize the name and it was one of those gambling companies. I don't remember the name of it. And I had to tell them, don't do it. I literally just did a story on how one of the Trumps is on the board of this company. Don't take the money. And they were like, yeah, but they're funding all the leftists, all the political commentators. I'm like, I don't give a shit if Jesus Christ himself took the money. Don't take the money.
Just because other people regulate are getting that shit. It almost puts, if we're putting our stamp on approval on something that is completely unregulated, that is benefiting, there's so much insider trading going on. It's like, it's so fucked the way they're using it to manipulate elections. Like you'll see that all of a sudden,
here's the thing.
Also, I just want to say one more thing. They are offering people so much money. There is a leftist podcaster who said they offered him $600,000 and he turned $600,000 and he obviously didn't take it. But that is life-changing money. Like there are people who would be like, oh shit, you might be a better person than me. I don't know. They are offering crazy money because they need leftist stamp of approval on these products.
Yep. And here's what I'm going to say to these people who may be tempted to, first of all, you got to do what you think is right. And I'm going to tell you something as somebody who used to be a gambler, who knows a lot about it. Gambling, first of all, even if you're just using it as a statistical analysis, what you're doing is you're creating a permission structure and a narrative that allows them to tell government regulators this isn't for gambling. It's just a way to predict things because people are putting money on it. So even if you are just using it as a statistic, which
you shouldn't be because it's not factual.
I don't. Well, actually, it could be factual, but it doesn't matter because that's not how they make their money. They don't make their money on predictions, but CNN's doing it for a reason because they're getting paid to do it, and it puts the name Kalshi out there, right?
Yes.
So, second of all, what I will say is this: there are two other things. Number two is that gambling of all addictions. Wait, I'm gonna let Brittany in here real quick. Hey, Brittany, how are we doing?
Hey guys, doing good. Yes.
Brittany, this is Eliana. Eliana, this is Brittany.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
gambling has one of the highest rates of all addictions for self-harm because it's one of the only addictions that doesn't show physical symptoms manifest. And so the shame around gambling and losing your entire life is so much for people that they resort to self-harm. And the third thing I'm going to say is this is what I find interesting, and we can talk about it on another podcast. I read an article 3 or 4 years ago that said that there is a direct relationship with the amount of gambling in society and the risk of revolution. That typically in moments of political turmoil leading up to revolution, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, and the reason why that is so both of those had an influx of gambling, and now everything's gambling. But the reason that is because, and it's a good metric, is because basically when you're gambling, and I can attest to this, you are saying that this value of this $1 today is the most it will ever be worth. So if I don't have $100 and take a stupid risk, I'm going to be screwed in the future. So no more, turn on local recording.
Whoopsies, my bad.
I forgot to do that. That's why I put it in beta. Next time you see that, just make sure to tell me to turn on local recording, or Chris is going to beat my ass. Haley Steven,
wait.
Basically, I'm gonna let you do this, so I don't want to distract you. Meg's putting up the banner, and she's doing a great job. She's taking her time and working. Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah, go.
Let's go. So the reason why people gamble is because they feel like the promise of the future is, with respect to present conditions, is impossible.
Yeah.
So,
the show that Korean show,
Squid Game, yeah, Squid
Games. The whole entire premise of that was the man had a gambling addiction, and he had owed so much money that he was willing to put his life in danger to get the promise, not even the actual money, the promise of getting the money.
He would rather die and maybe get the money than live without it.
And honestly, I'm seeing so many parallels to that in terms of women's addiction to reality TV shows and dating shows like Love Island, where these very early 20-year-olds are willing to embarrass themselves for the promise of $100,000. And if you listen to a lot of their stories, like half of them are Nepo babies, but the other half, they come from low income families, and that money is life-changing money. $100,000 for somebody who has consistently made like $30,000 a year, that to them is life-changing money. So they're willing to basically do porn on television.
And what they don't talk about behind the scenes in reality TV is, because I know a lot of people in production who worked in reality TV before they worked to episodic television, is that everybody knows it's not reality, but what you don't know about these dating shows is they ply people with alcohol. There's always alcohol. There's always if somebody is for instance, I don't know if everybody saw the AMNT documentary about America's Next Top Model, where there was a woman who was struggling, and she ended up cheating on her partner of 5 years with somebody, and it was because some guy basically SA'd her, and
on camera.
It was and it was messed up, and it's that's not an exception, that's the rule for reality TV sets. You get people drunk, you want them in because that's where the reality is, but really what it is it's manufactured drama and it's manufactured pain, it's emotional pain, and people. And so
people will do as an alcoholic, a former alcoholic. I've been sober for 14 years, but one of the things that alcohol does, thank you. One of the things that alcohol does is it does let down your guard. And so a person, especially a woman in her early 20s, who would otherwise say no to sucking on a toe on live television, they will be much more willing to do it if one, the money is high enough, or two, the alcohol is flowing.
Yeah, I used to know a woman who was she was a sex worker. Specifically, she was a dominatrix, and we used to talk about how like the dominatrix thing is kind of like, I'm not kink shaming here, but it's just an interesting like thing because it's typically powerful men who are paying to be dominated, and there is a form of domination that takes place just because the powerful men pay for it at the end. Like that is a form of, so like it's always like the alcohol lowering your inhibitions, and then you see how money also erodes inhibition and also erodes and I'm not saying in that case like that's like somebody providing a service and somebody else paying for it. That is where it gets murky depending on the person and the circumstances that whatever. And this is a lovely person, super brilliant, can and could do anything. At the time they were just, no, I'm not going to do it anymore. But at the time they were the circumstances surrounding why they made that choice was because of, it was like money becomes a form of is always a form of exploitation for people that need
capital
it.
Capitalism.
Yeah, capital. And so like a lot of, so I was doing a story on this or a video on this of like, why are Republicans and MAGA specifically, and the Trump administration specifically, so invested in demonizing socialism, is because socialism essentially erodes capitalism's power over people.
The fear of not enough.
Yes. And so if you can, if a socialist like Zohran Mamdani, that's just the example that we currently have right now of a successful socialist, the power that he has right now is his ability to enact a lot of the policies that are actually benefiting his community, which is New York City. What Republicans are aiming to do is to demonize his success so that they can continue keeping their base poor and stupid.
Yep.
And if you are uneducated, you are going to allow capitalism to do whatever the fuck it wants. You are going to romanticize capital to the ends of the earth. You are going to continue pushing out these reality TV shows. You're going to continue pushing out this capitalist propaganda, and people will just eat it up because it allows the oligarchy to continue. Socialism is anti-oligarchy, not because we think it's cute, but because we have to dismantle oligarchy in order to get these social services to the people. And so, yeah, all of this relates back to capital fucking sucks. Capitalism is
Brittany,
what we should demonize.
Brittany, you've been pretty quiet.
Brittany loves capitalism.
Jump in, Brittany. Come on, let's go. You're a registered Democrat now.
I know. Don't tell my like, I was drinking my tea. Do you see my tea?
Oh my God, stop. You're at your mom's house. She's got the goods.
All the goods. I need to find my Trump teddy bear.
Oh my.
God, no. Those exist.
I showed you guys, I have a Trump gold coin that I found in my mom's thing that she gave me here.
Actually,
I was
gold.
like, who the fuck?
That is gonna be worth like 2 cents one day.
For real though. Okay, on that note, do we want to talk about Haley Stevens last night?
Yes, I am excited about that. That was quite, a showing, we shall say.
Yeah, Steve, did you give her? I put a note in the chat. Can you give Brittany access to share her screen for clips?
I don't know if I can.
If it'll
or
just
she
be
can just
easier.
text them to
Otherwise,
me and I can send them.
direct you and you guys can do it, but I'm gonna be like, stop.
Oh no, hang on a second. How do I do that? People,
you've done it for me before. You must be able to.
Oh, here we go. Oh no, this is hard. The pressure is on, but there is no pressure.
But I will say something. We're gonna see it in the while Steve's doing this. We'll see it when we, because Abdul actually talks about this. He says he's a capitalist. So I'm like, yay, capitalism. But he's like, I'm not a socialist. I'm a capitalist. But what I recognize is that capitalism, and this is where I think we've gone off course as Republicans, is we've taken this really strong line that, you know, regulation is anti-capitalist. No, like the founder of like modern capitalism, Adam Smith, and we've talked about this, like the key insight is not that like the key insight is not that like capitalism is this magical thing. The magical thing is competition. So you need robust competition in order for the invisible hand of the market to work. And that's what Abdul said. He said you need strong antitrust laws, strong antitrust laws. We have those, but we don't enforce them, and strong enforcement of it. So if you are, and the antitrust laws is what brings competition back to the market. So if you're not doing antitrust, then it doesn't really matter if your market has like 2 people in it. It's not going to work like a market. And that's, you know, why our market doesn't work right now.
I found it. You can actually click present. You should be able to click present. I just sent you a link with the instructions, and you should be able to
I'm doing it.
All right.
How to share screen.
And then
Eliana, what does it say back there? Hot girls love socialism. Yay. I'm a hot girl that loves socialism.
Brittany, you're so close. You'll get there. Don't worry.
I know.
I hosted a prod show.
I have faith.
I hosted a prod show for Kat. She was like, "Hey, can you help me out with this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so then I like made a video, a promo video where I put on makeup for the first time. I was 36 and I dressed up in drag. It was really fun. I just did it for a short, and then I like put on makeup, and I'm like, "This is kind of cool, man." I was like, "I like it."
Make sure when you share screen to like toggle that you want it to play the audio too.
Okay. Also share audio. Okay. Oh, I gotta pick which one. Can't I do entire screen? Oh, I can. Perfect.
Okay.
And share the audio.
The room where I'm at is not mine, and they're gonna probably kick me out in like a couple minutes. So I have to go, but it was so great being here again.
Thank you for coming by. Thank you for coming by.
You have an open invitation. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, here, Eliana, I have to show you. I'm making you a thank you note now, but I have one for you on our whiteboard in the back. So when we do meet in person.
Okay.
This is from one of your last appearances. It's hard to keep, but it says, we were talking about Cory Booker, and it says Trump bad. Oh, whoa, that's an infinite screen. Holy cow.
Whoa. Inception.
Okay.
So it's
I'm going to try and see if I can do this.
Trump bad. I'm angry. And then on the top, it says, now let's go get brunch. It's all fixed. So that's Cory Booker. I did Cory Booker. I did a Cory Booker cartoon being a fugazi for you. So that's on a page of hillbilly elegy that I am systematically destroying and repurposing for art.
We love it. We love it.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm working on your next thank you card.
Thank you. Okay, my poke was just delivered. I'm going to go grab my poke from the front door. BRB.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Eliana. All right, Brittany. Time to go.
All right. Can you see my screen?
I cannot.
No?
No. You're doing great, though. Don't worry. Hey, thanks for coming, Chicago Bish. Let's check in with our community. We got 2 people on.
Yay.
What's up? We got 3 people in the Instagrams chat. If you're on Instagram, we don't monitor this chat, so get out of here. Hey, you know, we have a live goal of 20 gifts on our TikTok where we're monetized. You have infinite screen again, so you have to.
I don't understand what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah, you're choosing the wrong window.
So close that.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Stop screen. Okay.
Okay. Now when you do share screen, just do like share a specific window and then click the window that has.
Hey,
I know I wanted to be able to go back and forth. All right, let me figure out which one it is.
If you're joining the chat right now, thank you for being here. If you're on YouTube, a lot of people from the Valenti crew that is now part of the Party Crashers crew, a lot of you have been very generous about offering to give us super chats and things like that. Unfortunately, our YouTube is not monetized. So, you know, if you ever want to show your love, we're on Twitch. We also have a Buy Me a Coffee and a Substack. I think one person subscribed on was a paid subscriber on our Twitch. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, no, if you guys if you ever want to show your love, we also have bits in our chat on Twitch, but not yet on YouTube. So I'll put our there's a buy me a coffee, I think, somewhere. But that's a good way to support us. But never any pressure. Like, we do this because we love it, and we think that people will love it and support us. And that's what we hope. Because we don't want to have to put we don't want to have to be in like a $2 million studio that says brought to you by Raytheon.
No.
Hang on a second. Let me do it this way because it looks better. That's better.
Okay. Can you see the screen that I'm sharing, that I'm supposedly sharing?
Screen.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right. So, so we're going to go through the debate. I have
can you introduce yourself, Britt? Just who you
hi.
are,
yes.
What you do to live, thrive, and survive, and how you are definitely more qualified to discuss this than me.
Yes. Okay. So I'm Brittany Gordon. I am living. I'm not sure I'm thriving. Yes, trying to survive. I am a lawyer. I practiced international law in Paris, and I specialized in international litigation.
Shit.
And so,
you used to litigate in French?
No. My cases were in English.
Okay.
But I did basically the litigation that I did was like, it's funny because y'all liberal lefties all talk about the backroom deals, and I was like, hi, I was there. But I used to do litigation for like the big global companies. I can't tell you which ones, when they would sue each other. So I feel like when they're suing each other, like, I'm not a bad guy because it's just money going from one bad company to another. And I thought my companies were pretty good. They were the better ones. And then I also represented states. What?
So you're funny.
I represented states against some of these companies, and I actually think I was on the better side, even though it's all corruption. I mean, I'll just, side note, it's all corruption. But so one of the skills that I learned, it's not really like what I did, but it's a necessary skill to what I'm doing, is breaking down arguments, analyzing arguments, and thinking about responses. And so, I just apply that to politics now, and I try to break down the bad people's arguments so that we can win and have a better country that doesn't, kill children on the other side of the world.
Or in this side of the world, and this zip
this side of the world too. I'm a equal children defender. All children.
That's
very radical. That's radical.
Damn! How dare you? How dare you believe that?
Wow.
For our viewers, I was raised Republican as I sip my Trump mug. Mm-hmm. And I just registered as a Democrat to vote in the Florida primary. So,
but mom doesn't know. So shh.
Mom does not know. And I'm like checking the mail every day because I'm worried like I'm gonna get something that says it.
Well, one day we're gonna be big enough. One day we're gonna be big enough that your mom's gonna see us on Fox News and be like, "What happened to my daughter?"
I know. There have been some like gatherings, in DC, that have been featured on the Fox News, and I'm like, thank God I did not go.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah. Well, I'm not. There are some people that were looking out for me, but I don't think it's and no, that's no longer a problem. Mashallah, God has willed it. So Brittany, you are more than qualified to. I'm excited. Yes. What do you got?
All right, so we're going to go through the debate, and I've picked, kind of examples that I think really highlight the things. But I wanted to flag. So I went through and took notes so that, this is like pro. But I wanted to flag a lot of the techniques first that Haley Stevens does, so we can like identify them, know what they are. So when you know them, you can see them, And so her big strategy that she likes to do is called pivot and deflect, or pivot and attack. And you'll see what she does is she'll get a question. She'll identify with the question. She'll say, yes, that is a big problem. She'll talk about the problem. She'll normally talk out, like give a specific Michigan example of the problem. So she's showing that she is engaged with the community. Like, yeah, I talked to this lady down in Detroit the other day and, spoke about this very problem, right? All of this is time wasting. So she doesn't actually, and she's trying to empathize, so she doesn't actually have to give her solution to the problem, which is what the question is.
Yeah, because a solution would probably cost somebody that gives her money.
Exactly. Or she hasn't thought about the solution. You know, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of delay and time wasting tactics here too. A lot like, you know, and this is why it's like you see these parallels when you listen to Trump, because Trump doesn't have any answers to anything and he will just say it. So it's really easy to identify when Trump is doing it because it's just so blatant. Whereas like these are strategies that strategists teach people to do. She has been taught to do this. I have no knowledge that she has specifically been taught to do this. Disclaimer. But and then she will pivot, and the pivot will either be to attack her opponent. The pivot might be a deflection. It can be a pivot. Sometimes she pivots to Mike Rogers as to why he's bad or he won't get it done, but she never actually answers the question. And so that's something I want to flag so that you guys can see it as we're going through it. The other tactic that you're going to see that she does all the time is what's called appeal to authority. And you know, saying that you're endorsed by somebody is obviously, there's a reason why people do endorsements, like the fact that Abdul is endorsed by the UAW. You know, that's a good thing for him to say. So I'm not saying never say your endorsements, but you can see that the way that she does it, she's not putting cynically. It into her. What now?
Cynically. She's doing it cynically,
but also she's not doing it to like in her answer. It's just kind of like thrown in there, you know, like and I've been endorsed by this and this, right? And so it's just she doesn't, it's not elegant the way she does it, so it's very easy.
Yeah, she's not very good at doing the thing, but she's doing the thing.
Right. And then, you know, she attacks Abdul's character. That's another thing that we know Trump does all the time. And another
especially
thing is
Muslim people. They tend to do that. It's crazy. It's almost like there's a term for it. Like, what's the color of the Democratic Party? Blue?
Islamophobia?
No, blue MAGA. Is that what they say?
Oh, blue MAGA. Yeah, this is 100% blue MAGA. And it's funny because you call them out and they're like, "What's blue MAGA?" And I'm like, "You are the blue MAGA.
You're doing the thing."
But so you have the thing, you know how we always say every accusation is a confession. Same thing, accusation in a mirror, where basically like instead of talking about the thing you're doing, it's whataboutism as well. You know, instead of addressing the question as it applies to you, you say my opponent's doing it. That's very Trumpy, right? You know, like if Trump deported or like you know, split up 5,000 children, you know, Joe Biden split up 30,000 children from there, right? Like it doesn't even have to be true. And then also, you know, a lot of these tactics are like the same thing, can be different tactics, but it's muddying the waters, right? So it turns it, instead of like an attack on her that lands, it's now a he said, she said, they're both doing it, everybody's corrupt, I don't know, you know, and we've seen how Trump does that. So those are the things that that we're gonna see.
All this? You found this in one debate?
Oh yeah, she does it like repeatedly. It's really funny. But then you want to watch for like, instead of offering like specific answers, it's just general things, right? So Trump does it in this way, like, yes, so this is an example of all the things how Trump would do it, right? So yes, the groceries are too high. I'm going to bring down grocery costs. My opponent thinks the groceries are amazing. They want more grocery prices, right? So Trump, it's very clear the way Trump does it, but she's doing the same thing. Okay, so let's go to, I'm going to go to the video now, and then we can talk about it. And I'm going to skip through the opening.
And we should mention this debate.
Can you hear the sound when I turn it on?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for doing this. This is sick.
Oh yeah,
this is so fun.
Well, I love, whenever I listen to things, I just like, I want to argue against it. I like it.
Me too.
Questions
I
about
have that problem.
affordability.
I do want to I want to show her opening statement, because I want you to see how she frames, like this shows a lot in how she's framing herself and him.
This race couldn't be higher.
For Eliana.
Costs continue
no,
to go
for
up. Our health care,
Claire.
voting rights, civil rights, it's all on the line, in addition to Social Security and Medicare. And if Mike Rogers wins this race, all goes by the wayside. Look, Michigan deserves a senator who can win and who can deliver. I'm the only one on this stage who has flipped a Republican seat, and I was named Michigan's most effective Democratic lawmaker in Congress, because my only focus is you. Abdul is running for celebrity. Republicans are propping up his campaign. And Mike Rogers just the other day said in a secret phone call that he makes it easier for him to win, that he's the one he wants to run against. Look, this isn't about the DC or New York influencer crowd. This is about putting Michigan first, and I've got the receipts.
What about the
to do
Chicago
that, which is why
influencer
Governor
crowd?
Whitmer and so
What are we,
many
chopped
others
liver?
are joining my campaign to win in November.
I have
Okay,
clout.
so I know. What about the Florida influencer crowd? Come on, I have a chihuahua. Okay, so I think she did a couple things there. So if you listen to that, and like one of the ways to kind of test this yourself is like, what did we learn from what she just said? Right? Did you learn anything that she's done? No. And you know, I'm not comparing and contrasting so much because of the time constraint, but like if you listen to what Abdul said, he went through specific things that he's done. Like, what did she say? She said she is the most something lawmaker. Like she gives us
Most effective Democratic Congress member of Michigan.
What does that mean? Do you
what
have,
does that
is there
fucking
an
mean?
award on a plaque somewhere? Like, like, is that, I didn't see that award.
What did
somewhere.
you have to get done to get that name? Like,
right.
Nothing
and that
substantial.
Is but that's also the appeal to authority aspect, right? Like you should, like one of the things I was thinking is like, I'm a lawyer, right? So you come to me with a legal problem and you say, hey, I have this legal problem. Can you tell me, I want to hire you. Can you tell me if you can solve it? And I go, well, I have this plaque right here that says I'm the most effective lawyer. It's like, I'm not explaining to you how I'm going to solve your problem. So why would you pick me? You know? You know, and I'm sure you do this, you know, like when you're creating briefs to get clients, like we all do this in our life. Like, so she does that. Then she does the pivot. She starts talking about Mike Rogers. She starts making the electability argument, which like she does. It's not like she gives any actual data. Her data is Mike Rogers wants to run against him. How does that prove that you are more electable? Right.
Like, maybe he thinks it's better competition.
Right. But also, why do we give a fuck what Mike Rogers thinks? Like, he could be wrong. Like, you know?
This is what I always say about why Democrats suck. Because Democrats, no, it's serious. Well, it is funny too. But like Donald Trump is in the World Wrestling Hall of Fame. And like, I kind of like,
yes,
there's a lot of people who talk about this. Like, there's a book called Ringmaster about Vince McMahon. Robbie Roadsteamer kind of taught me a lot about this in terms of his performance. But in wrestling, there's good guys, bad guys. Good guys are called the baby faces. The heels are the bad guys. The good guys in wrestling
and kayfabe.
Yeah, and kayfabe, exactly. It's not fixed, but it is scripted. And the Democrats are as much a part of the script as the Republicans are.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, is that Donald Trump says, I'm the good guy. Democrats are the bad guy. And then Democrats say, we're the good guys. Donald Trump is the bad guy. And everybody is just pointing their finger at the other person, but 4 fingers point back, right? Blame is always backwards. Accountability is about action moving forwards. So look for the candidate who is holding people accountable and has a plan, because if they have a plan, they have their own version of the story. But if your entire thesis statement is Donald Trump is bad, so therefore by the transitive prop or whatever fucking property it is, I got a horrible LSAT score. If Donald Trump is bad,
you took the LSAT?
I took an LSAT prep test and I bombed it, and then I didn't have money to take the actual test. But I wasn't diagnosed neurodivergent at the time. Maybe I'll do that on stream one day. LSAT. No, but
I studied for it, didn't take it.
But yeah, like
they got rid of logic games. I'm so mad.
Oh,
that's the fucking fun part.
No, I hated those. They made me feel so inadequate.
Those are my favorite.
No, I loved that part.
But yeah, no, but like Haley Stevens does the same thing that like Chuck Schumer does. He's like, Donald Trump is ruining this country. And it's like,
well, and that's
what are you going to do to fix this country? What are you going to do to fix this country? If your entire thesis statement is Donald Trump is bad, Like, it's like when I told my brother when we used to play, he's like, why do you always get to be Luke Skywalker and I have to be Darth Vader? Luke is the good guy. And I was like, yeah, Alex, but Darth Vader thinks he's the good guy. Like, so that's the thing, is the bad guys always think they're the good guys.
Yes.
And you're playing into his narrative, though. So you have to create your own narrative, which is what Abdul's doing, which is what Zoran's doing, which is a lot of progressive politicians. They have a thesis statement about the disease. They know that Donald Trump is just the symptom.
Right. And I think another way to characterize that, and I always say, like, I don't do good guy, bad guy, because like I don't put the onus on the person, and that's where Blue MAGA is. Like, they are Donald Trump is a bad guy. We get Donald Trump out and everything will go back, and that fixes everything. And that's, you also got the framing of, this is the most important election of your life. We can't give Mike Rogers the seat. And it's like, we've been doing most important election of our life since 2016 and we lost twice.
And you've lost every one of them.
Yeah. But what the other way I like to frame this, though, is like structure versus like people, right? And so
systems versus people.
Yes. And so like you can always put in a good or bad person. If your system relies on a good person being there, you don't have a robust system, right? Because I see humans as very malleable to incentives. There are a very few amount of people, and we've seen this, that like will hold on to something in a good way or a bad way, regardless of the incentives. People are very like, except, like what you guys were talking about, addiction, like when you have very strong forces, like you can put a tax on cigarettes. If people are addicted to cigarettes, they're going to buy the $16 pack. Right. But mostly like, people are responsive to incentives. And so if the incentives of the system allow bad outcomes, then your system is wrong. And what Abdul is coming in and saying, he is talking about the system is not working, and these are my structural changes to fix the system. And Haley Stevens is very personal. Me, I will do it. I'm the workhorse. Like, I'm the fighter. I will fight for you. I am Michigan, and like, you need to elect me as a person and get the bad guy out. And the bad guy is either Trump, Rogers, or Abdul, right? And so I think that's a very good framing for how to analyze these things.
Well, it's a preservation of the current system. It's the way that Democrats and Republicans push and pull to keep the whole structure in place. And I think the thing about Abdul is he knows the structure is completely built around corporations. And that is why he keeps coming back to corporations. And people don't understand why. Like, I think he does a good job, but I don't want to go too much into the point. But yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the thing and that's the other thing I was going to add. Sorry, Britt. I got one more thing to add.
No, go ahead.
Thing earlier is that's the thing. That's the other telltale sign that somebody has a thesis statement and a vision for the future. They're not repeating the same enemy as their enemy. Their enemy is not, and they're always punching up. At this point, Democrats are punching down on a president that has 39% approval. And yes, he's evil, but there's a reason.
He's nothing without the structure propping him up.
Yeah, and exactly,
100%.
and exactly, and there's a reason they're not talking about Peter Thiel. It's because
I think
getting money from him,
right? And I think Megan, like, that was the key point, is that she can't talk about structure because she doesn't want to change the structure, and she benefits from it.
She got $60 million of it in her race, so
exactly
she can't.
Okay, so let me go back to this, and then and the other thing I wanted to highlight is, I mean, this is like a figure skating critique, but somebody definitely, she looks like some of the answers. She looks like she's like in one of those, what are they called?
When
the
she's
beauty
like
pageants. Like she like, I'm trying to find the thing, but she'll like answer a question and she'll be like, and all for Michigan. Like, somebody definitely told her, like,
so much. It's that face. It's literally
put a button on it. Yeah.
And for me, it's not even like a critique on her. It's a critique on women versus men in politics, of like how, as a woman,
smile, you should smile more.
You have to smile more. Whereas like Abdul, he smiles some, like, but he's allowed to have a normal face, and we're not allowed to have normal faces.
And she should be fucking not playing into that game, but she is playing into the game. And I noticed that too. I'm like, girl, put that smile away. It's so fake. Like, we don't fake smile around here.
Well, exactly, because you can tell when it's a fake smile because the eyes are dead.
Yeah, that's why I always said that women should make more money than men, because they have to, like, if they want to go to a quote professional job and present as professional, they have to spend more money and time to look professional.
100%.
And I'm saying this in quotes
100%.
because it's a construct, dinguses. That's what we
Yeah.
mean by construct. It doesn't take
Right.
me an hour to put makeup on and dry my hair and use hair product in order to go get a job that a man can go to. He has 15 minutes less. He has 45 minutes less more per day. So why are you not being compensated for that? Why can't you write off makeup and hair
then
product?
like people of color, think of like, you know, white women can usually just do a messy bun and, you know, a messy bun and yes, exactly. But then if a black woman goes
never
out
do
in
my
just
hair.
her pajamas and messy hair, they'll say that she's nappy, or, you know, like, so there are all of these. Yes, Splatterhouse, we are all serious. Okay, I'm gonna let Brittany go on to the next
Okay.
one.
Let's see.
Congresswoman Dr. Al-Sayed, thank you both for your opening statements. Listen, just want to give an affordability. It's the number one thing we hear about from people. What are they doing in Washington to make sure that life is more affordable for me? Dr. Al-Sayed, what are you doing that's something that perhaps we haven't heard before in Washington that's different to keep the cost of living down?
So let me just tell you, for me, I don't take money from...
Really quick, so I'll start at the beginning of his answer. So this is about affordability, and he asked that question in an interesting way because he doesn't want their stump speech. He's already heard that. He's like, what's something new, right? And so here we're going to hear Abdul's answer.
Dr. Al-Sayed, what are you doing that's something that perhaps we haven't heard before in Washington that's different to keep the cost of living down?
So let me just tell you, for me, I don't take money from the corporations who are jacking up your prices in the first place. When you're bought off by DTE and Blue Cross and Big Pharma and Big Tech and APAC, don't be surprised that there's a pro quo that comes with that quid. That money doesn't just fall off trees. $60 million from outside organizations in this race didn't just come from nowhere. It's because those exact same organizations expect something on the other side, and that's...
Okay, I have to change the screen because it was in the middle of his answer.
You're doing great. This is not easy to do for anybody who's like, oh man, the technicals, like what's going on? It's like, you know,
we'll fix it in post. We're fixing it in post.
What's up. That's what streaming is, the process. That's why we have Chris. That's why I love Chris. He fixes it.
I'll edit it before I put the clips on YouTube.
Yes, we'll edit it before we put the clips on YouTube. Oh, you put the clips on YouTube, Meg? Thank God.
Yeah.
I feel like I spend half my life posting stuff. It's horrible.
I got you, dude.
You're the best. Man.
Okay, you want me to put your screen back up?
Candidate in this race, senator. So it starts with being able to say, I'm the only candidate in this race who doesn't take any money from corporations. Never have, never will. And then from there, I actually can stand up to them. I can do things like enforce our antitrust policies that haven't been enforced. I can do things like tax billionaires their wealth so we could take that money and invest it in you and your kids, in your schools. I can do things like make sure that rather than sending your money somewhere else to drop bombs on other people and their kids, we can keep that money here at home. And just in case you don't believe me, just think about this. Just last week, our friend here voted to send 3.3 billion of your tax dollars to a foreign government. That is the pro quo that comes with the quid of $30 million spent by APAC. So it really comes down to how are you funded?
Dr. Al-Sayed, thank you.
Okay, so like that was a perfect kind of opening response. And if you know, we saw everything we've been discussing. So we saw him talking about the structure. We saw him talking about the biggest thing that he is going to be able to do for us is the all-encompassing, because he does not take corporate money or corporate PAC money. He's not beholden to them. He's not owned by them. It enables him to do the various policy things. A lot of the politicians that we've seen, they talk about what they're going to do, but they never get it done. Why can't they get it done? Because the people who actually fund them don't want them to do it, right? So he is explaining what the structural problem is and why he is uniquely suited versus his opponent to be able to deliver on these things. And then he gives 3 specific things that he's going to do. He talks about enforcing antitrust laws. He talks about I forget the second thing. It's going to come to me. Enforcing antitrust laws, taxing the billionaires. And that's something that we definitely need to do, is rewrite our tax code. And the third thing is not sending our money, like defunding our military budget, not sending our money to kill kids overseas, right? And those are 3 things that I work on in the Senate that he, as a senator, has the ability to have influence over, right? So I think that was a perfect encapsulation of like what a response should
did you just
do.
say you work on it in the Senate? What are you doing this? If you can't say it,
she's a lobbyist.
Oh yeah, no, that's my volunteer work. I go and I lobby. I'm like, I say advocate because like I don't get paid and like there's legal requirements around lobbying, so I don't technically lobby because I do it for free and I do it for humanitarian causes. But yeah, I go to the House and the Senate and I talk to the offices, the members, the staffers, and I ask them to do things and give them information, which is very interesting because you find out that like it's not a knock on them, but like they don't have all the information all the time. You know, they got a lot of things that they're dealing with, right? So like, you know, I'll have conversations with them and they'll be like, oh, I didn't know that. And I'll be like, well, now you know, can you please sign this bill? And I've been working on the NDAA. Like the past couple months has been like just NDAA. Yeah.
It's bad.
So he has the good version of the answer. Now let's hear our girl.
Yeah, let's go on to our girl, Miss.
Not my girl.
Councilman Haley Stevens, we heard a lot from Dr. El Sayed. Some of that was about your record in Washington. I want you to be able to address that, but also tell us what you would do to keep the cost of living down.
Yeah, our affordability crisis is choking us out here in Michigan. You know, everywhere I go, if it's at the fish fry in downtown Detroit, or
let's be relatable.
The working single mom who just the other day told me her healthcare costs continue to go up, that they grow.
So we're only talking about the problem, and we're giving examples of people in Michigan to show that she knows various people in Michigan.
Fish fry.
The fish fry.
Grocery bill is only getting harder. We don't need lip service. We need action. And Abdul's going to talk about where employees from certain corporations are spending their money. But let me tell you about what I am doing, because
So she pivots to Abdul. And she recharacterizes her weakness. And she minimizes it. Oh, he's going to talk about where some corporations are spending some of their money. No. Corporations are putting money in your pocket for you to do things for them. You know,
$60 million fucking dollars.
And our utility companies are selling out their ratepayers, and I'm giving them an option. I'm saying DTE, either stop raising rates or lose your federal funds and cut executive pay. Look, we need proven fighters in these positions. And that is what I have done time and time again. I've got the receipts to show.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Also why.
Yes.
Because this is the thing that drives me the craziest, just as like a regular person. Because again, comedian. This, if I was going to write a joke about her argument, it may not be funny, but I think it is true. Like, hey, Haley, in 2009, you were on the auto rescue task force. And 17 years later, you are still bragging about that. And you say that it makes you the most qualified because you need to rescue auto jobs. So you were the chairman of that task force and you still have to rescue the jobs. Like, did you not do your job? It's like a firefighter bragging about,
and then the UAW endorsed Abdul anyways.
Yes, he did that, and that was going to be the but it's like it would be like if a firefighter responded to a fire 17 years ago, the house burned down, and now he's saying, "Look at my experience. Look at what I did when that house was burning. Look, it burned down. And now I'm the guy who can come and rebuild that house. Finally, like I let it burn down. I did a good job letting it burn down, but that means I'm qualified to rebuild the house.
Right.
Like, bro, no, you're not. You failed.
And why do you not have anything from 2009 to talk about? Right.
Right. Exactly.
And there's a question on the auto part, and I have a whole section on that later. So I'll go into detail, but like there's so much about that specific part. But she gave one answer. She gave one-line answer, and it was, she says she's gonna like tell them to stop raising the rates and cut CEO pay, or they're gonna lose their federal funding. That's her one solution to the cost of living. And there are so many problems with that. Like the first of which is she takes money from DTE. So like, what are you telling us that this is what you're gonna do in the Senate? Like, you know, the incumbent has an advantage because they are an incumbent and they have all the advantages that come with incumbency. But they also, have been in the position, right? I used to say this to my cheerleaders, like if they were, on the team before, they would be like, do we have a guaranteed spot on the team the next year? I was like, no, you got a spot the same as everybody else. You got to come to tryouts and I pick the best ones. And I'm like, you have an advantage because you were on the team last year. So you should be better at the people coming in that are new. So if she's telling us, okay, rates are bad, there's issues with DTE, why haven't you done anything in the House? Show me what you have done. While Abdul doesn't have something he can point to because he hasn't been in a legislative position where he could do something against DTE. Now he has other receipts, right? He has all of the work that he's done in public health care, right? But like on this particular issue, he can't really point to like, this is how I've helped you with your cost of living, because he hasn't been put in a position of power to control any of those things. But she's in the House. What has she been doing in the House? And she can't point to anything. Thus your point of why she keeps going back to 2009, because that's like the last thing that she did. Because if she did something else, she would point to it, but she's not. Okay. And now she's going to go into her taglines.
Governor Whitmer and AG Nessel, to prove. And that is what I have done time and time again. I've got the receipts to show it. And this is also why Governor Whitmer and AG Nessel, two proven fighters who want to see results, have endorsed me in this race, because Michigan, it needs a workhorse in the United States Senate, sleeves rolled up, ready to tackle our problems on day one. And I'm not just stopping there. Let's lower the costs of groceries with my bill. No tariffs on groceries.
I just want to get in the weeds.
That was the beauty pageant moment. No tariffs on groceries.
No tariff on groceries. My name is Haley Stevens, and I'm here.
But you saw how she went into her shtick of, I'm the fighter, I'm the workhorse. The fighters endorsed me, starts name dropping and all these things, right? I mean, like, this is like the formulaic answer. But she pointed to two actual substantive things. And here's the other point is that, like, I had to look this shit up because, like, I don't know these things off the top of my head. This is supposed to be informing and educating voters. And because she's not doing that with her answers and the format, it's not like Abdul can just like, hammer her like on cross-examination and be like, hey, you said this. What does this mean? But she said two things. She said her bill, no tariffs on groceries. I looked on her website. There's no policy of no tariffs on groceries. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I mean, like, what are there tariffs on grocery? Like, she hasn't explained the problem. We're talking about cost of living. Okay. So we know, and here's the thing.
Well,
we know
I'm gonna jump in here real quick. And
go ahead.
Wrong, but I think it's important that in Michigan, candidates in Michigan triangulate with respect to tariffs, because a lot of people in Michigan with the auto industry see tariffs as something that's beneficial.
Right.
So,
well, that's why it's a very interesting, like, I think it's a very,
okay. She does have, so HR 5446, No Tariffs on Groceries Act. It's in the Ways and Means Committee, and latest action back in September of 2025, it was referred to the committee. So it doesn't have any, it only has 3 co-sponsors, not even really good ones. And that's it. So no, it's like she's not working on this at all. She's literally not working on it at all.
Because like bills that we are actively working on, we are getting, that's one of the things I do. We go to offices, we ask for co-sponsors. Like start
she only
with
has
3 co-sponsors.
And it's been since 2025. So she doesn't give a fuck about this bill. I'm just saying that.
But here's the greater point is that, like, because this is a very Donald Trump thing to do, just throw out buzzwords. Tariffs are associated with Trump. Trump is associated with bad. Trump's tariff policy has been very bad. We will actually see Abdul later talk about tariffs in an intelligent way. But she just wants to throw out the red meat of your groceries are too high. We know tariffs increase prices, so no tariffs on groceries will fix it all. That is not the solution to the problem. So 80 to 85% of the food we consume in this country is domestically produced, which means not subject to tariffs. The tariff impact on grocery prices is very minimal because there's supply chain and whatnot. It's about 1 to 2%. So on a $100 grocery bill, you're paying about $1 more because of tariffs. There are lots of other costs in the system that are contributing, like what Abdul is saying with the corporate capture and the antitrust and the only having 3 grocery stores. That's where your money's coming from, but she can't talk about that. So she throws out this policy she obviously does not care about, the no tariffs on groceries.
She probably literally created this because she's running and needed to show. Like, it's such a performative thing to own.
Right.
Like, just looking at this, I'm like,
notice it happened in 2025. When did you say the date was?
September 17th. She introduced it, and it was assigned to the Ways and Means. And that
when did Zoran win the primary? When did Zoran
November? Or no, and the primary was like August, right? No.
Okay, so that's when they began to see that grocery talking about cost of living was viable from a Democratic position. So less than 1 month later, when she's gearing up for her Senate run, she's such a cynic and she's not even fucking good at it. Sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but she's
like, I would like to at least see more co-sponsors.
And let me just say one other thing. Let me just say one other thing to extend on Brittany's very cogent point. One of the largest input costs on anything, it doesn't matter what you touch, everything on my desk is gasoline. Tell me why gasoline prices are high right now. It's because we're in war with Israel. Because we're in war with Iran because Benjamin Netanyahu was in the Situation Room when that decision was made. Now tell me who Haley Stevens has benefited to the tune of $60 million from.
Right.
And that's why she's not bringing up gasoline costs, because it traces all back to her. Every accusation is a confession, and every time somebody points a finger at someone else, 4 point back at them. Period.
100%. 100%.
And because it's just lazy. I don't even do this for a living.
I know. But here's the other thing too that you said that ties it back to what you said earlier is tariffs are not 100% bad or 100% good. They need to be used in a targeted way, and they can be used. And the thing is, for some Michiganders, for some Michigan farmers, they actually like the tariffs because it protects their industry. Tariffs are protectionist, right? So like there are certain types of, so like dairy, like Canadian dairy farmers, there's an issue with tariffs back and forth between Canada and Michigan and the other dairy states up there. And cheesemakers are protected by tariffs. Like, so our cheese that we import from like France and stuff is a lot more expensive because of tariffs. So like a Michigan,
it's not even incentivizing then to say no tariffs on groceries when they need it to protect
because it would hurt the Michigan cheese makers. Exactly.
What a dumbass.
So so it's not even so if you dig even
learn that at the
fish
fry.
Surface, like so I don't know where it came from. I don't know who said it to her. Like, make sure to say tariffs on. I don't know who came up with this policy idea, but particularly for like a Michigander, like that has critical agricultural industries that are protected by tariffs. You know who was also protected by tariffs? The auto industry. Like, I'm not a big tariff person because I'm a free trader because I'm a Republican. But so I'm not arguing for or against these things. I'm just doing the analysis part. But if you were somebody trying to appeal to like Michigan workers on a Democrat ticket, like.
Tariffs are not going to be the thing. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to also talk about her DTE because so her other policy thing that she said here is she's going to make the DTE corporation lower their rates and not and reduce CEO pay reduce CEO pay, or she's going to withhold federal funds. Again, it's a one sentence throwaway. She does not explain her policy, and she doesn't actually explain how much of these two things, because she only said two things, or she said CEO pay and lowering the rates. How are you going to make them lower the rates? Just say magic wand, lower the rates. How that is going to affect the structure, right, of DTE and the electricity. Why are the rates going up in Michigan? Does anybody want to take a guess? Classroom?
Why? Data centers?
Data centers! Exactly. Ding, ding, ding. So, and Abdul actually does explain this in an answer later on. But data centers, so what's happening with data centers kind of very broadly is data centers require a shit ton of power, like a lot more power. And the grids, which is the things that like give you the power, are already built, right? So you can't just like put another plug in the wall. It's like when you put too many plugs in the wall and the whole thing blows up and then you get no more electricity and you got to flip the thing in your garage. It's kind of the same thing as that, right? So you have to build more power infrastructure. And depending on the contracts, data centers aren't really like, they're like, yeah, we'll pay for the electricity we consume. We'll pay a premium for the electricity, but who is paying for the upgrades to the grid, the cables, the substations, all of that? It is the taxpayers. And that is why the rates are going up, is because there's more electricity demand because of this data center, and the cost of that demand is being externalized onto the ratepayers. So she talks in her answer about standing with the ratepayers, but the ratepayers aren't the ones paying her. DTE is the one paying her, and therefore she is going to support DTE interests and not consumer interests.
And not only DTE, but also she's taking a lot of money from AI. AI needs those data centers. She's like it's all a messy conglomerate of just, she is here to represent corporations. End of story.
And she hasn't explained at all how she could even get that legislation done. So again, I looked things up, and DTE is not just a Michigan company. And they actually, the people with the most power over DTE is the state that regulates. So like state assembly, the governor, that apparatus. But they have 59 projects in 14 states. So in order to get this done as a senator, as one vote in the Senate, she would have to form a coalition with the other 14 states where DTE is in, or all the other 50 states.
And has she?
Exactly. Has she done this work? Like, and again, I'll point back to, she's been in the House. Have we seen the DTE rate limiting bill in the House? Because whatever she says she's going to do in the Senate, particularly on this issue, she has to get something passed in the House too. So, and it has to get signed by the president. So like, if she's really thinking she's going to use her legislative power in the Senate to limit rates on DTE in Michigan, I mean, it's just fantastical. It's just like, have you spent 2 seconds actually thinking about this response? Or is it just something that you thought sounded good in a debate? Because like, this is why people don't like politicians, because she said it, she threw it out, but like, this isn't going to happen. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen.
Right. Or she would have at least got a lot incoming, you guys. Okay. Steve has to handle something, but he said we can keep going.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I thought that was very illustrative and you know, just kind of interesting to point out and like think through, because she's not the only one that does this. And I think it really is important to like listen to the politicians and not just be like, okay, that sounds good, but like, and assume they know what they're doing. Like, how are you going to do that? You know, like, and why is that solution going to fix the problem, as opposed to Abdul's solution, which is, I don't take corporate money. So like, I am in a position to enforce antitrust laws, to enforce, you know, to put taxes on companies so that I can do the change that I want. Right.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. I'm like looking at her list of bills that she has
well, that's what we can do that now, because I wanted to do that. So let me find.
I mean, some of them have like her Protect Local Funding Act has 41 co-sponsors. It's still in the Committee of Oversight and Government Reform. Protecting America from Chinese Cars Act. I mean, I think Chinese cars are supposed to be really good, though.
Maybe they are, and and honestly, that's one of my things about protectionism, is that it actually ends up hurting you in the long run, because what it does is it removes competition. Exactly. It removes competition from your local industry so that it has a buffer, but then there's no competitive pressure on it for it to get better or more efficient. And what ends up happening is you might like help save one local, like the auto sector or a fruit farmer or a dairy farmer, but your consumer base loses out because they are paying higher prices. They are the ones paying the tax on the protectionism, right? So this is Haley Stevens's page, because this is where I went to see if she was talking about anything.
Okay.
And I don't want to go through the, I just want to show it. It's like this is like, I went to her, I guess her home, and then Hope Agenda, right? Like this is just like, this is her
Hope
platform.
Agenda.
And it's like, yeah. And it's like we have 7 points with a bullet each. Okay. We're going to, and if you just like safer communities, we're going to do like there's nothing here, right? So Ensure Michigan leads manufacturing by investing. Okay. How? What? I mean, it's like this is like ChatGPT slop. So I wanted to point to the water one because I thought the water one was really interesting, and I know that water is kind of a key issue in Michigan. So she's going to prioritize safe, clean drinking water. Good. How? What? Invest in lead pipe replacement and fight contamination. Again, fight contamination by doing what? You know, how? What are you doing? Especially in communities most affected,
like
right?
regulating dude, like she has to.
There's just this. I mean, it's one sentence. Like you can't. Like there's nothing here. And so I wanted to contrast that because I went there to figure out if she was talking about the groceries, and she was not talking about the groceries. And then so I went to where is Abdul's page? Here it is. So then I went to Abdul's and I was like, oh, well, maybe this is what a campaign page looks like. Let's see what he does, you know? And it's like, he's got for each of the things a paragraph, you know? And it's not just like end gerrymandering. That's very specific. It's not just like water, you know? Supreme
like
Court
protect
reform.
voting. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
It's not just protect voting rights. It's end gerrymandering and a whole paragraph on how.
Right. Civil rights and liberties, like, you know, a full thing, immigration, environment and natural resources. So talking about all, like, look at how much on Michigan's environment. And then he talks about water, right? Compared to her one sentence from the Flint water crisis. He talks about the problem. And then he's like, he wants a federal water guarantee that every family has access to at least 50 gallons. This is something you can write in a bill text, right? Yes. Exactly. And bills capped at 2% of income, right? Like that is something that is a policy that you can go into Congress and fight for. Not just like, I want to protect water. You can't put that in a bill. And then he talks about,
she might try.
Like she says she's going to get rid of lead pipes. Okay, thank you. He talks about getting federal funding infrastructure to get every lead pipe out of Michigan's water systems by 2030, right? So it's you can even see with the same the same issue, it's way more concrete. And like he's obviously acknowledging that like you can't, you know, there's probably a lot of lead pipes there, I guess. It's a big state, you know, it's going to take time, and he's putting a deadline on it. And then he talks about, so she talks about PFAS contamination, but we don't know how. He's saying, how is he going to do it? He's holding the polluters accountable for the contamination. And federal funding to invest in aging drainage and purification. Okay. And then he has a very specific, like support shutting down line 5. Does Haley Stevens know about line 5? I don't know, but she didn't talk about it.
Right.
Okay. So that's just like, you know, like just looking at the work that they're willing to put in on their campaign pages, like might be indicative of what they're going, the type of ethic they're going to bring
$60 million,
to the job.
and she can't even like hire someone to put together some legislation plans, like because she doesn't want to have to be held accountable to anything.
That, and probably she can't put those things in because the $60 million won't let her. People paying
because that would hold them accountable. They're the ones who would be held accountable. They're the ones who would have to do all the lead pipe shit and the PFAS. Yeah. Okay, what else we got?
All right, moving on. Cancel. Okay, 228. Okay, so yeah.
He's a bit with this because I want to ask you a very direct question.
Okay, so now he's moving to a direct question, and this is like so much obfuscation.
That so many people ask us, are these folks getting money from big utility? Congresswoman Haley Stevens, are you taking money for your campaign from DTE consumers?
No.
Like, that is the question. How are you taking money for your campaign from DTE? Are you taking money for your campaign from DTE? The answer is yes. That's the answer.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
And I'll put closed captions on. So,
getting money from big utility. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, are you taking money for your campaign from DTE consumers?
No, but let me say this, Roop. I have been transparent. I have been transparent throughout this campaign. And let me just say this, that the only thing that ever motivates my work is the people of Michigan, the people who I hear from. You know, my opponent is on these big podcasts. You know, he's running a podcast himself. These folks are making fun of the way I sound, but yet I sound like the people who need help, who are talking to me about what they need.
Congresswoman,
done.
that was a follow-up to ask the direct question.
okay, so I thought that answer
Wait,
was
let him cook. Can you let him cook real quick? Sorry, he was about to.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
No,
go
he's going to follow up, but I wanted to point out
my
specifically like that answer because it was a very specific question that she did not I mean, she said no in the very beginning, I guess. So she did respond, but the point is the tactic that she used, it's very Trumpy. Everything is about they are making fun of me, my accent, and then relating me like I am the fighter that's going to fight for you. I'm standing in your way. Like it's the same thing, that it's the same device that Trump uses, right? And then she likes to pivot to this. He's a podcaster. Like he wants to do this to get famous because he has a podcast. First of all, podcasts aren't a bad thing. I don't think we think podcasts are a bad thing, but
also literally everyone has one.
Except libs. They go on CNN. Nobody wants to listen to a shit lib podcast where Haley Stevens and like Jake Tapper talk about like James Patterson.
I mean, Favreau, Pod Save America.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm partial to the Pod Save guys because especially Ben Rhodes and Tommy, they do the
I do like
one.
Ben Rhodes and Tommy a lot.
Ben Rhodes is
I have
pretty
beef with John
left.
Favreau because of how he handled the Daria Lisa Chevalier abolishment.
Oh yeah,
I think that was bullshit.
That rubbed me the wrong way. But you know, they're in the mid of
I like Ben and Tommy.
Yeah, they're good. But it's like he did a podcast on public health. His specialty, the thing he has a doctorate in and a Rhodes Scholar in and dedicated his life to because he wants to help people get healthier, right? That's what public health is. And he wanted to bring that information to the public through a podcast that he did for 6 years. Like, why is that a bad thing? Like right. it's insane. But yes, so she doesn't answer the question, and then she does the same thing. She deflects, she pivots, and then she does the very Trumpy, the I'm fighting for you. They're making fun of me, which is making fun of you. Like, no, sweetheart, we're just making fun of you.
Whether you're taking money from utilities or not. No. The answer is no. Thank you. Dr. El-Sayed, I'm asking you the same question.
Yeah. So he just followed up and she said no, which is not true because she did take that money and she is relying on like a very kind of loophole-y type thing where the money was given to her congressional campaign before she went to the Senate campaign. And she followed up. I don't have the clip, but she followed up later because a reporter asked her, you know, like, hey, you have taken money from DTE. And she said, I have not taken money from my Senate campaign. And that's what he asked. And that's why I wanted to highlight the question. That's not what he asked. He says, has your campaign taken money from DTE? And she said, no, she's relying on this technicality, but he didn't say it has your Senate campaign.
Specify which campaign.
Exactly. And so some advisor told her, hey, this is how we get out of it. But she wasn't even smart enough to, because what you're supposed to do is instead of saying no, you would say, my Senate campaign has not taken any money from DTE. Yep. So you are technically not lying, but she doesn't even know. She just said no, which is not true. But also her congressional campaign, she gave her money from her congressional campaign into her Senate campaign. So literally, how did they not give you that money?
Because you're using it.
Exactly. And I looked into this, like for DTE, for like a utilities kind of company, the main power over them is at the state level, so that's where they concentrate their funds. And then congressional House members have certain authorities over them where they can get things that they want. And so she was in a specific committee where she could do things for them, so that's why they were giving her money. But in the Senate, she's not going to have that same power, and senators have less kind of control over things to give them. The Senate is like broad policies,
so it doesn't make sense for them to donate to her anyway, right?
Yeah, now. It doesn't. Like it's not like, oh, I'm not taking DTE money, I have a principled stance. It's just like, no, I'm running for a position that like can't really give them stuff. So yeah. So I just thought that was extremely interesting.
Let me do a screen share really quick. 1 second. I'm going to show
Do I have to turn off? Okay.
No, I just took you off.
Mag, I think I got to run. Can you guys, I think you can host, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. Britt, thanks for coming on. I'm working on your thank you.
Thank you.
I got to go to dinner, but
have fun.
Bye, buddy.
Thanks. You all take care. Oh, wait, I'm not going to end stream. I'm just going to leave it out open, and I'll close the window. And all right, take it easy.
Bye, friend. But yeah, this is all of her DTE donations, which is insane.
I know. It's
insane. Fucking insane.
Okay. It's literally just insane. Like how she thinks she can just get away with that. And this is why, I don't like this framing of this is the most important election ever. Every election is the most important election ever because we live in a democracy. And like, I think people are kind of got lulled into this thing of like, they weren't really doing a lot of participation in democracy. And then they saw our country go to shit and they woke up and they were like, what the fuck is going on? I thought things were okay. Somebody had a good analogy. It's going to come to me, but it's like you have to put energy into the system in order for the system to stay on the right course. And we haven't been putting in energy as the public, but the special interests and the corporations and all, they've been putting a lot of energy. So the system has steered off to benefit them. And now we're starting to wake up. So it's like, we have the privilege of living in a democracy, but it takes work. And, and I'm not a UBI person. I have a lot of things. I think UBI is something that could actually backfire a lot because it would allow us to like not be able to even have jobs anymore because, like, I think like there's a reason why Elon Musk wants UBI, but like incentives for democracy, like I think that would be really good. Like if you have to spend an hour of your week on democracy related things, like you should get paid for that. You should get
civic
paid for
engagement.
Tax.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like and we need more investment in that kind of work. Like there is a reason why like Republicans and like corporate backed interests are so well funded and like the lefty progressive causes that like we fight for that I think are more important. And I'm coming at this as a Catholic, these are the most important things that Jesus said to do. Are not funded at all, so that's a structural problem. But I think we need to get out of this thought of like, oh, we just need one more election and then we get to go back to brunch. Like, we're not going back to brunch, people. I'm sorry.
I swear to God, every time I see that, I'm like, they're like, if Kamala won, we'd be up. I'm like, well, you were clearly someone who was not fighting for an end to fucking genocide, an end to, I mean, BLM, like all of the uprisings in 2020. I'm like, yes, we go to brunch, but like, we have had a lot of fucking fights in my lifetime. What are you talking about, brunch?
Right, exactly. I'm like, I will be at brunch when I get to go have brunch in Gaza. So let me know.
Yeah, there we go. And not at
All
the
right.
Trump version of Gaza.
No,
and
no, not.
Gaza. Palestinian-owned Gaza. Okay,
Exactly.
I do have to get going in like 15. So we
Okay.
can always pick
We'll
back
just
up
keep.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll just. Do you want me to cut jump ahead, or you want me to just keep going and then we can pick up?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, let's go to APAC. Do you want to talk about APAC?
Love it.
Okay, APAC is the next one. 355. Okay, perfect.
Do you see why some people are bothered by the fact that so much money, $40+ million, has come from AIPAC for these PACs to talk about you and to promote you and to put you up as their candidate?
Yeah, and I appreciate the question, Root, because this moment in this country and here in Michigan, people have every right to be frustrated about our campaign finance system. My opponent here on this stage, Abdul, he's got a super PAC that his father-in-law funds that has millions of dollars going into it. And look, in terms of foreign policy, you know, Abdul and I do differ. I believe in a two-state solution. He has attacked me by name for purporting that the people of Palestine and the people of Israel deserve to live side by side peacefully. The goal is always long-term peace. And also, the Prime Minister of Israel has attacked me by name.
That was such a
both
performative attack.
represent the extremes. Look, Michiganders want peace. They deserve to see peace. And that is where I have always cast my vote. And that is the work that I want to do for Michigan and the U.S. Senate.
Specifically about AIPAC.
Okay, we'll talk about that answer and then we'll go to the follow-up. So, like, can you tell me? So first of all, the question was about campaign finance. It was not about foreign policy. That's like, if I asked you what was her answer, you would say something about foreign policy. The first question was about campaign finance, but she deflected because she doesn't have an answer to the $40 million that AIPAC is spending on her. He could have not said AIPAC. He could have said she gets a lot of money from health insurance and healthcare companies. So he could have said, what about, on health insurance? And then talking about foreign policy would have made no sense in the context of that question, because the question is about corporate control, corporate interest, special interest, and the campaign finance that she receives from them. So that's like the first flag is like, why are we talking about two-state solution? The question was nothing about that, right? But and then she does like this completely disingenuous thing where she says Abdul is attacking me. On what? You didn't tell me. I have no idea what he has attacked you on. And Netanyahu is attacking me. On what? You didn't say that either. Are they attacking you? She says
they're both the same extremes.
Exactly.
Which
so she's
is
trying
insane.
To juxtapose themselves like Netanyahu, because the Democratic Party, I think, has at least shifted enough to where some of them think, okay, I still like Israel, but Netanyahu's the bad guy, right? Because he's doing a genocide. Like, in 50, 100, I don't know how many years, we're going to look back at this period and Netanyahu's going to look a lot like some of the other ones, He was
going to look worse because he's gone away with it for too long.
I know. Yeah.
But yes, she plays the card to be like, look, even Netanyahu doesn't like me, because that's a safe way, because there are a lot of Zionists who just don't like Bibi's Israeli government.
Exactly.
And so she just found an in to make this statement anytime she could without ever actually having to think about or answer the question. She just said, oh, this is my in for this talking point that I prepped with my team.
Right. And then she puts them, and so if Netanyahu is the extreme end, genocide end of this side, and Abdul is on the other side, the other extreme. What is the other extreme? What is she saying?
Extremely ending a genocide.
And then she's in the middle, so she positions herself as, I'm being attacked on all sides. And this is very Trumpy. What does Trump do? Oh, these people are against me. The media is against me. All of these people are against me. Exactly. And I'm the one because all these bad people are attacking me. I'm the one that's reasonable, right? Like they're unreasonable, I'm reasonable, they're extreme, I'm not extreme. And then it's the juxtaposition point. Like, what does he always say? Joe Biden and the radical left. Like, Joe Biden isn't anywhere near the radical left. Exactly.
Radical. He's probably more of a
things...
Republican in most parties, or conservative in most parties, or most countries.
Yeah. Definitely. He's like center right. But America's very right in a lot of ways. But so he's putting she's doing the same thing. Like, I know we like the radical left, but and we don't like Joe Biden. But radical left bad, scary. Joe Biden, put those two things together. Bibi Netanyahu bad, Abdul, put those things together without actually having to say it. It's like it's a cognitive trick. So it's like, but she's not, there's no substance there. Like, what is the substance? Like, they're attacking me, so you should like me because they're bad. And so if bad people attack me, then I'm good. It's that good guy, bad guy framework again. And then even if the question was about foreign policy, what's her foreign policy? She just said peace. She just said peace a bunch of times. But how do you get
two-state solution? Which how do you get a two-state solution when one side is bombing with impunity? Like,
exactly,
she can't but so it's like I don't even know why she opened that door. Like, it's actually it wasn't a smart move at all. It's just like, what?
And right, it's like, and this is why I keep saying she's just not that good at it. But like when you pivot, you're supposed to pivot to something that like is good for you or makes you strong or makes you feel, like give
us a benefit of AIPAC giving you tons of money. Like, sell it to us. Sell it to us why it's okay that AIPAC is giving you this much money.
Right.
If you can't do that, then
and the thing is like Abdul already pointed this out earlier in the debate. He showed the direct correlation. AIPAC gives her 40 million. She votes to give Israel 3 billion. Like, you pay 40 million to get 3 billion. That's a good trade, right? I would do that trade.
Yeah.
So, and we saw that in the aftermath. Everybody that voted to not send the 3 billion, AIPAC said, we're not funding you anymore. So like, that is the quid pro quo. It is out in the fucking open.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go on to the second part of her answer, because this part I'm just gonna set it up. I wanna. So she's talking about peace, right, and her solutions, and I wanna highlight who is she talking about in her answer. Like, pay attention.
AIPAC money, more than $46 million has been spent on AIPAC spending to back your campaign. A lot of people wonder if that is something where you're going to do their bidding should you win this seat. Is that something people should be considering?
So again, he brings it back to campaign finance and AIPAC. She doesn't answer that question, spoiler alert, but just to point out that, he asked again.
He's actually a really good moderator. He was like,
he was a really good moderator.
He was really good. He's
so
Abdul
voting for
was
Abdul. Answering. Exactly. But the thing is, one of the criticisms I will say to Abdul, and obviously this is difficult from him because he's a man and she's a woman, but because of the way the debate was structured and because she doesn't answer questions, I'm sure if you look at the time, she spoke a lot more than Abdul did because her answers required so many more follow-ups. And there was a rule where if the other candidate talks about you, you get a minute to respond, but they didn't enforce that very well for him. And he was mentioned a lot of times. And I think he could have said, hey, can I get I was mentioned, can I get my minute to respond? And I'm sure
I also think he doesn't care. I also think he was like, I'm not even going to justify it with a response.
He might not, but I think just having another minute to talk about something would, like, there are some things I think he could have addressed. But you always don't want to seem like you're a man talking over a woman, and that's something there are a lot.
It was the classier
exactly
way to do it.
It was. Okay, so here's her non-answer.
Concerned about, and if not, why not?
Absolutely not, Roop. Look, I have been very clear, consistent, and transparent, and I have continued to be. I want to see long-term peace. I want to see a two-state solution. I am deeply proud to represent one of the largest Jewish populations in a congressional district in the country. This is a community that I have grieved alongside, that I've mourned alongside, and have fought to bring the hostages home. And I'm still working to get us to long-term peace.
But no concern about the $46 million+ spent on the behalf of AIPAC that should worry people about perhaps you doing their bidding should you win the seat?
Well, I don't think there's much difference between super PACs going in for Abdul or super PACs going in for me. We have a problem with campaign finance reform in this country. I have an A grading from End Citizens United. I have been endorsed
Which is
by
crazy.
Defend the Vote. I have voted consistently,
that
and
too.
I'm going to stop Mike Rogers from getting anywhere close to the United States Senate, which is why he doesn't want to run against me, and which is why somebody like Governor Whitmer is supporting me in this race.
Congresswoman Stevens, thank you. I want to give some.
Okay, so I should have stopped it. But so the first answer, she's talking about foreign policy again. And she's basically saying, no, because I'm going to vote for peace. And I've consistently voted for peace. Well, we haven't got peace, so your votes aren't doing anything. But who did she talk about? She talked
about her Jewish constituents,
the Jewish
people who had
community.
hostages. And also, this is a stupid setup because Abdul has said he grew up in that community alongside Jewish people. And
exactly.
But she did not say anything about the other community that has been impacted. So she's appealing to one community.
Exactly. But
she has to appeal to all Michiganders. All Michiganders.
But the thing is, and this is where I get really upset about how the debate gets flattened in this way, is that she only appealed to one part of the Jewish community, because there's a whole nother part of the Jewish community who we all know, who we work with and know, who are like grieving this in a different way. They are grieving that they are grieving the genocide. They are grieving that they are having to come to terms with like people they know and love are supporting a genocide, are helping to that their country is helping to fund
she had a
genocide.
Constituent who is Jewish with a baby try to stop her to be like, hey, I don't like that AIPAC also funds all these Republicans who are pushing all these horrible policies. Like, she wasn't even trying to bring up Israel. She was just like AIPAC.
Right.
And Haley Stevens turned around and walked away from her. And she said, I'm worried. I'm a Jewish woman worried about my child's safety, the world that they're going to grow up in. So yeah, it's like this very narrow group that
subset
like,
of
you guys are my only people.
Jewish people.
I'm relying on you. So I'm appealing to you right now.
And the reason why I hate this framing is she does paint it as a one group versus another group, Jewish people versus, she doesn't say, but Muslims or Arabs or Palestinians, however you want to characterize the other group. And it's like, I was looking at some other, some other question the other day, and I was doing some research and things. And it's like, before Zionism, like 1800s, 1700s, like the Middle East, like you had a bunch of Middle Eastern Jewish people who moved to Israel in like the 1950s, right? They came from places like the Maghreb. They came from Iraq. I was looking at food. And they brought their local food with them to Israel. And it's like, it just shows how beautiful that area was before. And it was talking about how there are certain dishes that Jewish people used to, like only Jewish communities, so like Jewish communities in Tunisia would do, because they couldn't cook on the Sabbath. They couldn't light a fire on the Sabbath. So they would, and there was only a community kitchen. This is like 1700s, right? Before we have electricity. And so they were talking about how the Christian or the Muslim shop owners who owned the kitchen would like take the pots for the Jewish people and put them in their ovens and tend the fire overnight from the Friday night to the Sabbath. And then the Jewish people would come get their pots in the morning to have their Sabbath meals because they couldn't cook on the Sabbath. And it's just like, that's how that community used to be. And it's really beautiful. And like, and we do that here in the United States. Like, we have Christian, Jewish, Muslim neighbors, like, different ethnicities, like the melting pot, like that's like, for me, the biggest symbol of melting pot is food. And that's why you can go down the street and you can get like Italian next to Chinese next to Thai. And it's like, that's a very beautiful thing about mixing of cultures, that like this whole like breaking it down into like this one group needs their own ethno state. It's like, no, like people mixing is beautiful. And I hate how that it gets flattened.
And also it is essential for a species to survive. Is diverse.
It really, genetically,
genetically,
you need,
like you need
heterogeneous, exactly, because homozygous traits are the bad ones that tend to die out, that make you less adaptable.
That's what's the craziest thing about white supremacy or people who are against like interracial coupling. I'm like, that is literally how y'all are gonna get wiped out. So knock yourselves out, but it's crazy. But no, like I live right next to whole shopping area, and there's a smoke shop owned by a Palestinian. And his thing is like, this is what it should be everywhere. We have an Indian restaurant right there. We have an Italian restaurant right there. I'm a Palestinian. We have a synagogue right over there. We like every kind of person can come here on a Friday night, walk past each other, eat each other's food, and that is what it looks like to live in peace. You should never say, no, this is for all one person. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like, but there she is directly talking about the people who want this one specific thing.
Right. And how do you get peace if you don't even acknowledge in your, she didn't even acknowledge the existence of the other side. She didn't acknowledge any of their pain, any of their struggles. Like, she didn't even acknowledge that she's been to their community. Like, she literally did not say a word about them. So if you look at this as a two sides thing and you only talk about one side, you obviously don't believe in a two-state solution, right?
Right.
Because you're only talking about the interests of the one side.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I can go a little longer because it's fine. My kids will be
okay. So, well, I'll just finish up on the second part of her answer, because the second part, he pushes her again about the campaign finance. And then you can see in that answer, she again, so she does the equivocation point, right? She says, well, I don't think me taking PAC money or Abdul taking PAC money from his rich millionaire dad are any different. And it's like, well, then you don't understand the problems of campaign finance and what we're fighting on, because we're not fighting on people getting money from their rich father-in-laws or whoever. Like, I don't think Abdul's dad is saying, hey, I need you to pass this legislation for me, like,
no, he's like, I really want you in, so let's get you in.
Exactly. Like when did we start? Like, I thought we liked our parents to be supportive of like our careers and whatnot,
especially father-in-laws. Like, if a guy can get his father-in-law to invest in him this much, it's a good dude.
Exactly, honey. But so she tries to equivocate, like, oh, we're all just getting money from, and it's the PAC money, it's the same. It's like, no, it's not. Like, if Abdul's father-in-law was like the owner of Geo, the private prison system, then I'd say I have a problem, but no, it's just a guy, and yes, I don't want on it, like, personally, like, yeah, I don't think Abdul's dad should be given him millions of dollars, but he shouldn't have to. He only has to because they're giving you 40 million and he's got 2, like, so and that's the thing, it completely ignores the scale of the problem, right? In a really weird way, it just like triggered me. I'm like, it's kind of like when people say like Hamas is a problem. It's like Hamas is a resistance group. It only exists because of the oppression. Like, if you took away your 45 million, Abdul's dad wouldn't have to waste 2 million on him, like, sorry. But so, and then she pivots to Mike Rogers, and I was gonna say Mike Johnson, Mike Rogers. And so, and so she's just like, she's not ever taking on the question in a good faith way. And I think obviously this is politics. This is why we hate politics, but like, or we say we hate politics. Okay, well then don't vote for the person who's doing these things. Like, when you watch Abdul, he is legitimately trying to answer the question. And like, again, I'm a Republican. I don't agree with everything he said. Some of the things he says about unions and stuff, I'm like, I don't like that policy. But like, I understand his policy, and I like can accept that this is how he believes he's gonna address the issue.
And you believe him because he's answering the question, and it's concrete enough that it leaves no room for gray, that you can like it or not like it.
And I can understand it. I know what he's going to do. I know what I'm voting for, right? And it's like, and he's thought enough about the problem to put forth a solution. That's why, like, the superficial part of her beauty queen answers is like the, that part. But the substantive aspect of her beauty queen answers is it's very formulaic beauty queen answers. Like, it's just fluff. It's all just
literally, it's what if you could have anything in the world, what would it be? World peace.
Yeah.
Like, she's literally
like she literally said that. Should we give her a tiara?
We should. Miss Congeniality right here.
Exactly.
Okay. The next part of her answer.
And then one thing. Oh, right. Okay, so the End Citizens United part. This was fun. This was a very fun deep dive that I wanted to. I'm gonna see if I can do this. Oh, I do have to do it one at a time. Okay, so she said that share screen. She said that she was she has an A grade from Citizens United. This is very funny. I'm very excited to do this. Because I was like, that's weird. I didn't think End Citizens United was stupid and not a good group. Look. Oh, who's that guy there? Wait, this is End Citizens United.
There. Oh, that's so fucking funny.
No, hold on.
Oh,
End Citizens United. This is the endorsed candidate.
Oh, she's not even endorsed.
She's not endorsed. Abdul is the endorsed candidate.
What?
So she's literally no
Stevens.
Stevens. I was like, oh, let me see, because I thought they were a good group. Because we got good people here. We got Tlaib, we got Omar, we got other people. We got some people that I love him. He's my favorite. But yeah, so so here we go. Hi, sweetie. He's good too. I love him. But yeah, so the thing that you are like claiming supports you did not endorse you. They endorsed Abdul. And let me see if I can do this, if this will change my screen. So this is the thing that she's actually talking about, the scorecard. And this, I think they need to fix their scorecard because it doesn't mean anything. If you see everybody, it's just an A or an F. Like, it's literally just a yes or a no.
Pass or
so the
fail.
fact that,
yeah,
like the fact that she has an A, and there's a couple people that have an A plus, like McGovern has an A plus, so she doesn't even get an A plus. Oh, all the good ones have A pluses. I love Kassar. But yeah, so she Stevens, she has an A.
I doubt she'd still have an A after this. When's the last time they updated their grades?
Well, so this is the thing is, it's more about their process, because if you just see all the D's are A's and all the Republicans are F's, and it's just because the thing is like, the scorecard is based on whether you co-sponsored this amendment, whether you voted to prevent the SAVE Act. Right. So all Democrats, because Republicans are in control. So all Democrats are voting against these things and all Republicans are voting for these things. But I don't understand this because it says rejecting corporate PAC money, but she takes corporate PAC money. So like, I don't know what they're doing with
there's
their
an email
scoring.
Address right there. Inbox at endcitizensunited.org.
Yeah. So we should ask them about that, because like, because this part rejecting
emailing them right
PAC
now.
Money, not so much. I love it. Hi, we have a question. Your scorecard is not doing the work that it needs to do.
I'm literally emailing them right now. Inbox at endcitizensunited.org. Got it. Okay.
Yes, that's what it says. And then she also says that she has the endorsement of Defend the Vote, which is kind of like so she didn't get the End Citizens United. So I was like, well, what is this Defend the Vote? And then if you look at kind of who they endorse, this is I like him, but this is a centrist Dem PAC, so you can see Daniel Biss, Debbie Dingell, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, gross, Don Davis, gross. He wrote the Section 219 of the NDAA, so we know he sucks. So this is like this. There she is. So she got Angie Craig, which we want the other one, Flanagan, in Minnesota. So you can tell that this is like the establishment, PAC for ending corporate finance, which is like, we won't.
Okay, I'm writing their email. You can continue though.
Okay, so oh, and the other point I wanted to make about her pivoting to Mike Rogers, because she keeps saying this. She keeps saying, I'm going to beat Mike Rogers. Like, I don't know, but she doesn't say why. The only thing that she says is like, she won a red seat. It's like, okay, you won a red seat, like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. Like, it's different now. Like,
and also one point that Abdul brought up in like the later press conference is if it is Haley versus Mike Rogers, all of those corporations want Mike Rogers. She's not going to have that $60 million crutch anymore. It's gone.
Exactly.
Mike Rogers is already going to be more on their side.
Right.
So it's actually the stupidest argument Like,
right. Well, and that's exactly the point I was going to make, is that like all of her funders also fund him. So where is the money that she is going to have in the general going to come from? Because like her big funders, AIPAC, fund him. Traditionally in these types of places, AIPAC will stay out and just kind of, but here's the thing, Democrats are moving away. Like AIPAC doesn't want Democrat control of the Senate. Like, so we might see them spending only against Republicans in this race, but you also have all the other corporate interests. DTE also funds him, and like Republicans are just going to be better for that, right? And healthcare, she gets a lot of healthcare money. He gets a lot of healthcare money. He gets like a lot of healthcare money, a lot of big pharma money, right? So it's just like, are they going to fund her and take a little slap on the wrist, or are they going to fund him, who is going to give them way more profits? You know, like it's just and the thing is, she doesn't have the grassroots support. She doesn't have the grassroots funding. So is she going to be able to raise money from the base and the Michigan people? And like the DNC is broke. Like the DNC is broke, like worse than like my finances. Like I have more money than the DNC. And so she just has like maybe from the DSCC, but like if the Senate committee has to give her money, then they're not spending like to get people like hopefully Angie Nixon in Florida, you know, elected. Like, you know, they have a lot of races. They got to put money in Maine. So like, do they really need to be, whereas we see Abdul can raise money on his own and has to, you know? So, yeah.
I'm making this email very. I'll have you lawyer review it.
I love it.
Whoopsies.
Do you want the link for the scorecard?
Oh, I got it. Don't you worry.
It's like, this is the thing. Like, I feel like these people just like don't think they're going to get checked anymore. Cause like, why would you, she voluntarily brought up the End Citizens United scorecard when maybe she doesn't know, but like they endorsed Abdul. So like, why would you bring them up?
I know they should make a statement. I might ask them to make a statement.
I know. We've endorsed Abdul. Your scorecard, it means nothing. We want him. We want the other guy.
Can you see if she co-sponsored a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United?
Yes. But here's the other point about all of that is that we have seen this time and time again. It is very easy to vote for or against something when you know it's not going to pass at all, right?
Like it's like the $3.3 billion to Israel. We got a historic amount of votes. They knew that the Republicans were not going to vote to end the 3.3. And so it's like, for them, it's a statement to be like, hey, we can pull this and we need to show the people that we're like, it was almost like throwing us a bone, which was still like a success, but it didn't do anything.
Right. I mean, like I think that, well, I would say, I think that vote was a little bit more than like, it was symbolic, but also, I mean, people lost AIPAC funding, right? So like AIPAC disciplined people for taking that vote. So that was definitely like, but like I don't know, there are some votes that they just take and it's like, they know it's already going to pass or it's not going to pass. So they just like put their name on it to put their name on it. But like, they may have voted differently if they actually had to like vote on it, you know, or they know the Senate's not going to pass it. That's like, the Glusenkamp lady, Marie Glusenkamp Perez in Washington, get her out, vote for the other guy. She said this, she voted, she was one of, I think, 5, 6, 7 Democrats that voted for the congressional stock trading ban, it's not a stock trading ban. All it does is it prevents members from buying new stock while they're in office. It does not prevent them at all from selling. So like part of the trading is buying and selling, not just buying. But so in section 3 of that bill, there was a SAVE Act Light. It was a voter ID law. It specified like 5 voter IDs that would be required, like driver's license, passport, tribal ID, and like 2 others, something like that. And so that was in the bill. So most Democrats voted against it, and it was put in the bill like cynically by Republicans, because they were like, we're gonna pass this bill that says it's a congressional stock trading ban. We're going to call it a congressional stock trading ban. It's not a congressional stock trading ban. So we're going to continue to be able to make money. And we'll put this SAVE Act voter ID law in it. So no Democrats will vote for it. And then we can all go out and campaign that we tried to pass a congressional stock trading ban. And the Democrats voted against it. I mean, that's like the cynical Washington politics. But some Democrats, a couple, voted for it, which is really stupid. But like when Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez explained her vote for voting yes, she said, well, I like the stock trading ban, but I didn't like the voting ID aspect of it. So I voted for the stock trading ban, but it's not going to pass anyway in the Senate because it has the voter ID part in it. So I'm like, bitch, what did you say? Like, you just said, I liked some of the bill, so I voted for it, but I don't like some of the bill, but it's not going to pass anyway, so it doesn't matter that I voted for it. So why'd you vote for it?
Right. Literally.
These, I mean, I was, dear Lord. All right. There's a couple. Summer Lee has one. I doubt she signed Summer Lee's. Are you okay, baby?
I'm also looking for them.
Okay. Summer Lee, this is September 2025. Summer Lee Schiff, senator. I'm like, he was introduced a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. So this would be the one that's in the current Congress. It was introduced by Summer Lee. Let me see if I can find it in the database. Congress.gov.
I'm on the database right now. 1 second. What is the name or because when I look up,
I know I'm
Citizens
looking for
United.
It doesn't say what it is. Oh, bill text. Let me see. Okay, so in the Senate, it doesn't give me the number. Okay, let me do this while we're doing this. Hold on.
Sorry if we've lost the entire audience. Now we're just in.
Well, I wanted if we do have an audience, but I need to find. Oh, here it is. Okay, how do I do? Oh, it got done. Oh, there it is. Okay, nope. Share screen. This one. Share. I'm going to show you guys how to find something. So this is congress.gov. I've been working on the NDAA. So this is where all the legislation is, and you can find it. So we want to find, so this is the bill. It says amendment to the Constitution. Let's just see if I can copy and paste this. Just do that. All right. And then I want to do it from. Why are you not letting me? Are you dead? Did you die? Oh, it's not responding. Wait. Okay, how about... No, that was too much for you. You're thinking too hard and you can't do it. Exit. I know it's having a problem. Okay, let's see. Amendment, Constitution. Regulate contributions and expenditures. It's a lot better when you either know the bill number or the name of the bill. Relevancy. What? My shit's not working. Oh, there we go. Date of introduction, newest to oldest.
Okay, so there should be how HJ Resolution 54 by Jayapal, We the People Amendment declares constitutional rights belong to natural persons only. So corporations would not have First Amendment
that's good.
spending rights. I don't see Stevens on that at all. There's House Joint Resolution 119. McGovern sets limits on federal campaign contributions and spending and would prohibit corporate spending in elections. It doesn't look like it has any co-sponsors yet.
Okay, look at this one. All right, can you see this one? It's oh wait. Am I still sharing? Oh, I'm not.
No,
it went away. Oh, I was trying. Share screen.
And then
HJ Res 122. Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one too.
Yeah. So when you find the bill, that's the bill number, and then this is the name of the bill. So that's how you can search it, and then it gives you the summary. And then we are looking at the co-sponsors. So the sponsor is who originally introduces it, and the co-sponsors. What you ask is you ask all the members in the House or the Senate to co-sponsor a bill. And
she's not on either.
Is she not on this? Because this is the main one.
She's not on it.
That's crazy. So she's not even, because here, let me put this one on the main screen. So this is the bill. This is Summer Lee. Introduced constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. This is the one that's active for this session, September 2025, because every 2 years you got to redo everything that doesn't get passed. You've got Summer Lee, and then this is the bicameral, so you got the senators on it too. Senator Schiff brought it in the Senate because you got to obviously pass in both houses. And it says introduce constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. Rein in corporate influence. The amendment would restore Congress's authority, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then it says what the bill is going to do. And then this is the bill. And then so we go to the Congress page and we find the bill and we're looking at the co-sponsors. And this is like the date you can sort by whatever, but we'll just look at the page. He's not here. She's not here.
Nope.
This is all of them, and she's not here. So she did not co-sponsor this constitutional amendment.
And that's with 95
This has 95 co-sponsors. That's
so
a
to
lot.
not be there, there's enough cover, because sometimes people wait until other people go forward with it.
Right. And Nagoose is a very moderate Dem. Like sometimes, so you have this informal thing where like if a squad person puts in a legislation, this is really rude. She wants to talk about being unkind. If a squad person puts a legislation, there is a group of Democrats who will not co-sponsor any legislation offered by a squad person. So like Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, I think AOC, I don't know if she's still a squad person, but Cori Bush back when she was in Congress. And so what that does is it prevents these members of like really being able to do things and put their name on it. So like, you know, Rashida Tlaib, if she wants something, she has to go to another member of Congress and say, can you put this in? Because if I put my name on it, a whole group of people are not going to put their names on it just because my name is on it, because they want to go back to their districts and say, I don't put my name on anything Rashida puts her name on. It's really fucking gross. It's kind of fucking racist. Like, I don't know, maybe that's what a microaggression is, or I think that's just a real aggression. But anyway, so that is part of the politicking, but Joe Nagoose is like a normal moderate Democrat. So there's no problem of that. And it's got whole bunches of progressives and non-progressives on it. Seth Moulton, he's not at all. Yeah. So there's really like no reason that she should not. Like Nikki Budzinski, she's horrible. Shriek
Yeah,
Danadol,
she is horrible.
So it's got APAC full of improvement.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's
He
literally no
also-
reason.
Okay, so since we're talking about Michigan, Shree needs to get taken out too. In his district, it's Donovan McKinney who's running against him. So like, and this guy, I mean, obviously we hate him because he supports genocide, but also he tortured and abused dogs. He made his money through like pharma, and I also work in pharma a little bit. And I'm really against animal testing. I know it's like a quote unquote necessary evil for us to get drugs, but I'm kind of like, I think we should not have the drugs and we should not. But they do these studies on dogs and it's really sad. And then they have to kill the dogs at the end. And he just left the dogs in the fucking warehouse because I don't know, he went bankrupt, he got bought out, whatever it was. He just left them in the warehouse to die, to literally starve and dehydrate to death.
Dogs and
he's disgusting.
Or no, dogs and monkeys. Dogs and monkeys. But it was like 50
monkeys.
beagles. Have you seen the video where like their paws touched grass for the first time? Oh my God. Like the volunteers were like crying. They're like, these babies have never even touched grass. They were like scared of oh my God, my heart.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he's a bad person. Get him out. And he doesn't like care about this. Like apparently this district is like a really like I don't know if it's the most Black district in Michigan, but it's like a very heavily Black population district. And there's some weird things that have gone on with people splitting the vote as to why he got in. And obviously he's a millionaire, centimillionaire, whatever. So he used a lot of his own money. But I'm like, do you really think that this guy is representing your interests? Like a immigrant Indian, like multimillionaire pharma guy is like representing the interests of Michigan 13? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Okay. So she's not on this bill, and this is the bill to be on. So I think we should let Citizens United know that she's not on their bill.
Okay.
And then if you want to just see like, okay, when there are amendments, like this is where you see the amendments. There's not any because this hasn't gone anywhere. But mostly if you want to see the text, this is where you find the text of a bill. This is a short one. The NDAA is like 1,500 pages. So when I work on that bill, I have to download it as a PDF. But this is how you find bills, and you can probably search here through the members and probably find everything that a member has like put in. Let's see if it works. Summer Lee. Okay, Representative Summer Lee. I love her. Okay.
Yeah, she's great.
Oh yeah, member activity. So you can just put in the member and then look at all the bills that she's on or has done, I guess. I'm sure you can probably filter by sponsored, co-sponsored. See, she sponsored 43, co-sponsored a lot more. How these are all her votes if you want to look up a member's votes. And then this is the current Congress. So we can like say, okay, we only want to look at sponsored legislation from the current Congress. This is what she's been working on. And you can do this for every member. Just see what they're working on.
Damn, she's so annoying for this. She hasn't done. Okay. So she has not co-sponsored anything to overturn Citizens United. She has voted to prevent the SAVE Act. She has not rejected corporate PAC money. Obviously, there is no major record of her doing much to protect American families from consumer and environmental protections, but she did oppose the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, as she should have. This is
I think every Democrat
why the
did.
fuck should she have an A?
Right. I don't want to search with that. I just want Haley Stevens. Haley Stevens. Okay, this this Congress. Okay, so she has 56 and she has taken 645 votes and she has 39. The remarks on the congressional record, you can see what she said. Tariff Refund Act. Okay. Protecting the America from the Chinese cars, secure aluminum supply chains, illegal handguns out of the mail. Like, what kind of country do we live in where we need to keep illegal handguns out of the? We need a law.
Like, where are your priorities right now?
Home Ownership Savings Act. Ugh. Release Your Taxes Act.
That's what she's been saying to Abdul.
I know. Crazy. It's like it's not about where he got paid. It's about who's paying you for your campaign. Like, okay, the man made money. He's a Rhodes Scholar. Like, he had a podcast. We know, we can listen to it. He likes public health. Like, he wrote a book about it.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen before I send this email so I can show people how easy it is to just be a pain in everyone's ass.
Yes.
So I have, hi there. I was just reviewing your ND Citizens United scorecard after seeing Haley Stevens received an A rating. I see your criteria is, and I listed the criteria. While she has voted to prevent the SAVE Act and the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, Haley Stevens is not listed as a co-sponsor for H, and I, linked the two resolutions to overturn Citizens United. She has accepted record-breaking amounts of corporate PAC money and outside spending. Given this, an A rating seems hard to square with, given your own stated criteria. Could you take another look and let me know what I might be missing?
I love it.
Yep. Okay. Oh my God, it's 5:30.
Now,
okay, I got to get my kids from school. But
yes, and you need to share with us the response. That's our cliffhanger.
Will. There we go. All right, people. I will let you know if we can seek justice. Sent. Okay. Yeah, I need to get my kids from school, but we can continue this tomorrow.
Yes,
Thank you.
was fun. I hope that you guys found it.
I love this kind of stuff,
I know. I love doing breakdowns.
We
need to break down Adam Smith, like have you seen his interview on Breaking Points with Chris? It makes my blood boil. I can't listen to it all in one sitting, but we need to do we need to do a breakdown.
We can do that. We can do like a live watch and react tomorrow morning, maybe.
Sounds
okay,
good.
I gotta go get my kids from school. Thanks everyone for coming on.
Thank you guys.
Oh my gosh, 3 whole hours. Thank you, Brittany. We will talk soon.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye.